No friend. Damara na wa mo fi wa frɛ mi o. I reckon you feel him come into dominam do bia. In so da wona ko wuchira mo. Awa wo benye mi ja. Ofri ni obia ya manu. Oh yeah. Yeah. Obere ma benye mi ja. No free oba sima. Get out.
6:31, getting straight into the newspaper review segment brought to you by Total Energies Marketing Ghana PLC. A poorly maintained car engine can age faster. That's why we offer specially formulated quartz engine oil with age-resistant technology. It's a breakthrough innovation that ensures optimal performance for your engine and improves protection against mechanical wear by up to 74% under extreme temperatures and pressure. Choosing quartz from Total Energies is choosing the engine oil that keeps your engine running efficiently and effectively. Quartz keep your engine younger for longer. Papa Youngson, cause this one show your love. Lots of stories to get into on the show this morning. It's an interactive program. Send us your views. 054-998-6996. That's our WhatsApp number. Hashtag CityCBS. Yes, indeed. So welcoming Richard Sky and Nathan Kwao into the segment. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello, good morning.
How are you guys doing? Are you ready for the show?
We are ready.
Ready for the show?
Yeah, we are ready.
Ready to ask good questions?
Yes.
Ready to make things happen?
Yes.
Ready to make some money?
Yes.
Ready to build Ghana again?
Yes.
Yes. Then let's start with the Daily Graphic.
Daily Graphic has a number of stories here. US-Africa partnership based on mutuality. That's according to Kamala Harris. Kojo Nkrumah rallies support for 3 revenue bills. Okay. And at the Graphic National Development Series, give ear to Agric experts, Asante Hene to government. And MTN's $25 million ICT hub project begins.
Let me take you to the Ghanaian Times. Harris addresses youth at Black Star Square and says U.S. commits to fast-tracking African innovation for economic growth. Also, VIP, others mourn the late Kumeu Member of Parliament. Ghana joins Atlantic Cooperation as founding member, according to our president. An MTN card sold for construction of $25 million Ghana ICT hub. Whoa, that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. The Finder has the MTN story. They have other stories as well. Seedling providers owed 28 million cedis, not 2.5 billion cedis. That's according to Benito Usubio. The former Greek minister, Dr. Free Akutu, says Ghana, Zimbabwe should increase trade volumes. Kamala Harris inspires youth to drive Ghana's future. And Dr. Addison asks MPs to prioritize revenue bills to ease economic crisis as zero financing of budget sets in soon.
The Chronicle says Kojo Nkrumah pleads with minority. Please help us secure IMF deal by passing revenue amendment bills. Are you in Parliament? Also, Speaker Begbin is mad, and mad is in inverted commas, over U.S. interference in anti-gay bail. Also, over 70% of green Ghana trees have survived, according to Benito Owusubio. And a free Akoto calls for deeper trade between Ghana and Zimbabwe. Is that part of one of the campaign messages?
he met them and he was advising them.
The man has elevated the conversation.
Yeah. The Custodian has a number of stories. They have Kojo Nkrumah trying to court support for the revenue measures. NDC MPs to face privileges committee, and they say the story is on page 3. Continue to pray for Ghana. MPA boss urges Chief Imam. And of course, there's Dr. Freya Akoto and his Zimbabwe call, and MPP loses MP. All of that on the front page of the Custodian.
Okay, so I have the new publisher and the Ghanaian publisher. So the new publisher says, houseboy found Kumewu MP collapsed in his bedroom. MPP declares 7 days of mourning. Also, LGBT talks at Jubilee House. Speaker questions Akufo-Addo. And also, Health Alert Clinic wins Best Ulcer Treatment Center Award. If you go to the Ghanaian publisher, they say that don't be intimidated by Akufo-Addo bargaining to anti-gay committee slams Harris. Also, let's scale up Ghana-Zimbabwe trade. A free Akoto is quoted. And then also the story about Benito Uwusubio. Publisher, again, he says over 72% of seedlings survived.
Okay.
Benito Uwusubio on Green Ghana.
Okay, let me give you two papers, the New Crusading Guide and the Herald. The New Crusading Guide talks about the revenue bills and all of that. Upon Kuma close to NDC. Interpol Ghana stands accused of illegally hounding Egyptian. Then they have the Dr. Freya story, and then they have Benito Uwusubio saying 72% of seedlings survive.
Stories have then been shared, mother side, among the papers.
And the Herald, quickly. The Herald says, why John Mahama wept over 35 pay-as-you-go NDC MPs. Why? Pay-as-you-go, they had
Some names have
some
dropped.
Names revealed.
Yes, please.
That's on the front page of the Herald. Plus, Badmin blasts Akufo-Addo and Kamala Harris over LGBTQ plus comments. And embarrassment. ECG catches Osu police barracks with illegal power connection.
Charlie, when you see the connections,
Telling me what?
some of them should move from police and go in this electric. Charlie,
The father is electrician.
my brother, if you look at the picture they brought along with that story,
It's serious.
Are you sure it is not electrician who has gone to connect the thing? Let me take you finally to the Informer, which says this morning, towards enhancing global peace and security, Africa's voice critical, according to Kamala Harris, who is in Ghana. And then also Fifi Kwete's hypocrisy exposed. Benefited from secret ballot. You know, some people are digging up the records.
all kinds of
Also, parties can't commandeer MPs according to the CDD. These are important calls that are being made.
All right.
Yes.
The BNFT's front page has a number of stories. IMF bailout engagements progressing well. That's according to the Bank of Ghana governor.
All right.
ECD launch delayed due to economic challenges. That's coming from the BOG. Banks with capital adequacy ratio of less than 10% asked to recapitalize, also from the BOG. And Kamala Harris exhorts Africans to innovate, empowers women.
Right, 6:38. Let me give you a few headlines from citynewsroom.com. Philip Baswa didn't collapse in Parliament. Brother of the late Kumewu MP tells City News. Also, the president is expressing his sadness at the death of the MP. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris not fit to lecture Ghana on LGBTQ+. This is Sam George. And then this story that is just unbelievable. ECG disconnects Osu police barracks over illegal connection. Osu police barracks.
So who would they report to?
I don't even know. Meanwhile, a couple more stories here. A heavy storm rips off science blocks and 5 classrooms at Huni Valley SHS. Your comment on anti-gay bill and democratic babbing to Kamala Harris. And then other stories. Ghana Post staff hold ECG task force hostage over disconnection. So ECG is doing all kinds of things this morning. You know, and then develop framework on financial autonomy for schools. This is Edu Watch. Now, if you go to my journal online, they lead with the stories of slavery must be told. U.S. Vice President after visiting Cape Coast. Speaker slams Kamala stake on LGBTQ+, and calls out Akufo-Addo. And then this story that we keep hearing these things. Armed police officers and soldiers clash in Accra Central as traders run for their lives. This was on Monday. And the story is here. And then in the Ashanti region, the GS says that students have still not reported to school despite free SHS. You know, and they have pictures of children carrying their chop boxes and things. Now, I just give you a couple of interesting stuff. If you go to Washington Post, there's an opinion or an op-ed by Zambia's president. And the title is, "You Cannot Eat Democracy." It's actually a very good read. You know, it's talking about the challenges they're facing the struggles to get an IMF deal. And for me, for a president to be this candid in an op-ed about where his country is, I think it's commendable. Let me give you a few international stories that will interest you. Al Jazeera says China vows to fight back if US speaker meets Taiwan's president. If you try, China said they will deal with you. In fact, that's the same story on Reuters. Taiwan president defiant after China threatens retaliation for US trip. So there's some brinkmanship going on there between China, US, and Taiwan. And then Russian forces are making no headway in Bakhmut, according to the Ukrainian authorities. In sports, Andrea, you did not travel with Black Stars because he was benched. Charles Taylor is alleged. Meanwhile, Ghana's Meteors defeat Algeria to qualify for under-23 AFCON. Yep. And then City Business News, Development Bank commits to resolve bottlenecks limiting economic resilience. So, guys, where do you want to start from today?
What's your pleasure?
Do you want to do Kamala Harris?
Since you have given me the chance you don't want, let me go to Philip Baswa.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so I think we need to make this point. So the MP's brother spoke on Eyewitness News yesterday and confirmed that his brother was rushed to the hospital at dawn and that he was found at home and well. And that was, I'm sure you told me the day before that he had been taken to hospital, but we're not sure whether it was Parliament or wherever. So Solomon Baswa, brother of the late MP for Kumewu, Philip Baswa, has dismissed rumors that the lawmaker collapsed in Parliament. Now, the 54-year-old MP was pronounced dead on the Tuesday morning, exactly a week after the passing away of Dr. Anthony Akotosei, an last stalwart of the MPP. Now, reacting to the report put out, in fact, let me read it. Reacting to the rumor put out by the Speaker of Parliament that the Kumewu legislator collapsed in Parliament, Solomon Baswa said the account of the Speaker was misleading. I heard the Speaker say that my brother collapsed in Parliament. This is far from the truth. My brother went to Parliament on Thursday, March 23, and returned home, and the houseboy was expecting him to wake up on Friday, March 24, and when he did not come out, he called people to help break the MP's door and saw him unconscious on his bed and took him to the hospital. The brother of the late MP told Umaru Sanda on Eyewitness News. Now, still on Philip Baswa, the president has expressed sadness at the MP's death. The president stated in a post on social media that I've been shocked and saddened by the news of the tragic death of the MP for Kumewu, Honorable Philip Baswa. All of us in the MPP were hopeful his health condition will take a turn for the better, but alas, our ways are not God's ways.
Okay. We send our condolences to the family and we wish them God's strength in all these difficult times.
Yeah.
But from there, let's stay in Parliament because there are a number of issues happening thick and fast. For instance, parties can't commandeer MPs according to the CDD. Also, have your pen will have our thumbs. Rebel NDC MPs declare as Asiedu Nketia loses grip of the party. This is in the Informer.
Really?
So the story says...
But the Herald is also saying that they've cut the 35.
Yeah, okay. So let me take the Informer's version. And then,
I want the CDD one.
Okay, the CDD one says that the executive director of the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, Professor Henry Kwesi Prempeh, has stated that members of parliament are not properties of political parties. As such, the parties must not be seen to be commandeering the legislators to the extent of issuing directives and instructions for them to swallow hook, line, and sinker their positions. Now, there's a quote here that says that political parties have no right to command or compel MPs of their party to cast a vote to a particular way on specific matters that come before Parliament. While they are elected on a party ticket and caucus as a party in Parliament, MPs do not sit in Parliament as delegates of the party on whose ticket they got elected, or even of the local constituents that voted to put them in Parliament. It goes on to say, belonging to a party suggests at best that an MP shares with the party certain fundamental ideals, principles, policies, and positions. However, it does not mean he or she must vote in Parliament as commanded or demanded by the party. The MP's vote in Parliament belongs to the MP, not the party, the constituency, or any other person.
I take it the way you read it with gusto.
Yes.
You are 100%.
Yes.
No, I'm on all, I support this position.
I also associate myself with the
Yes, I believe he's on all fours.
He's correct.
Correct.
Now, Nathan has which one do you
The
have?
Herald.
Okay.
So the Herald says it has landed some interesting details on last Friday's defiance of the directive of the National Executive of the NDC on the Minority Caucus in Parliament to reject the president's new ministerial and Supreme Court nominees, sparking disappointment and anger across the length and breadth of the country. So they just say that they have some names here. The story goes on to detail 55 MPs who, per the Herald's account, gave evidence that they voted in accordance with the party stance.
The rest, we don't know where they voted.
So all kinds of
if I'm not part of the 55.
but the Herald is also saying that some MPs also followed the party's directive, but they've not been captured on this said list that's flying around.
Yeah, okay. And also, we are told that Fifi Kwete's hypocrisy is exposed. This is according to the Informer, digging back into the records, pulling up a Citi FM online story done in 2009 to argue that the Honorable Fifi Kwete, my former member of parliament, apparently benefited from secret ballots in the past when the Mills government appointed him to serve as a minister. And therefore, he should not be seen to be seeking to hound MPs who went...
Speaker Bagbin blasting Kamala and also calling out the president. I think that story is in a couple of places. Your comments on anti-gay bill, undemocratic Bagbin to Kamala Harris, and that's on citynewsroom.com by Nia Ikoyokai. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has described comments by the Vice President of the U.S. on LGBT issues as undemocratic. Now, the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, during engagement with the President on Monday, said she addressed the issue with the President and considered it a human rights issue. Now, speaking at the breakfast meeting with the clergy, Alban Bagbin took a swipe at the Vice President. I was so happy when I read that Pope Francis directed that no Reverend Father should celebrate over gay or lesbian marriage. Rome has spoken and is final. Committee members that we refer the bill to, don't be intimidated by any person. Please let the report flow. We'll be guided by our constitution. So what are you afraid of? He said quite a number of things, and he says that these things should not be tolerated. In reference to Kamala Harris's comment, it's undemocratic. What is democracy? He went on a long thing. Yes. He also slammed the president, saying he has no authority to intervene on the proposed anti-LGBTQ bill, which is currently before Parliament. Now, then, still on the same thing, the main MP who's pushing the bill, it's a private member's bill, is Samuel George. He was interviewed on Eyewitness News. He says Kamala Harris should not lecture Ghana on LGBTQ+, and that the US is hypocritical, and that there are countries that have more draconian laws on LGBTQ that the US doesn't say anything about. Sure. So there are lots of things coming in from this particular one.
Well, if you go to page 20 of the Daily Graphic, you have the Minister of Information, Kojo Nkrumah, there, and he's rallying national support from all stakeholders to help pass the 3 revenue bills before Parliament, before the House rises on Friday. The government is hoping to rely on the bills to raise about 4 billion cedis annually from the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill, the Income Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill, and the Excise Duty Amendment Bill to shore up domestic revenue flow. Mr. Nkrumah stated that it was a dicey moment for the country, which required that all hands were put on deck, regardless of differences, to get the 3 revenue measures passed.
If you look at it, there seems to be a concerted effort to convince the minority to vote for this. If you go to the finance page, Dr. Addison asks MPs to prioritize revenue bills to ease economic crisis as zero financing of budget sets in soon. And it's a very similar angle to the Kojo Nkrumah one. Governor of the Bank of Ghana is appealing to MPs to pass the outstanding revenue mobilization bills before adjourning sitting Senate DA this Friday. According to him, the passage of these relevant revenue bills will conclude the required prior actions agreed in the staff level agreement to advance Ghana's $3 billion program. Now, the Guta, however, on citynewsroom.com is having none of that, and they are urging Parliament to reject the revenue measures. This is on citynewsroom.com. Don't pass 3 new killer taxes.
That's right.
Guta to president. And we spoke to Dr. Obeng yesterday, and he was basically saying these laws are not in the interest of the Ghanaian private sector. Now, the president of Guta, Dr. Obeng, is calling on MPs not to pass government-proposed 3 new taxes. Speaking on Citi Breakfast Show, Dr. Obeng lamented the inability of businesses to thrive if Parliament passes these 3 laws. So we see how that pans out.
And let me also mention that yesterday we spoke about the Ghana Federation of Labour and related, labor organizations and how they seem to be failing to deal with this matter, particularly the TUC. I've received some statements or documents from the Ghana Federation of Labour on their position on the matter, which they had articulated.
So what is their position?
I will bring that.
So I think they also oppose the... Yeah, but we are saying we are not hearing anything.
Yeah, they should be.
That's the thing. We are not hearing.
It's lacking oomph.
Now, but somebody is doing something. ECG. They've disconnected Osu police barracks over illegal connection. Charlie, when you look at the way they do
the sophistication.
Charlie, I think we need to recruit those people into the polytechnic. Give them a refresher course.
Professional Latricia.
Now, 3 blocks at the police barracks in Osu, in Accra, have been disconnected over an illegal connection. Now, into bracket, connected power directly without a meter by the National Revenue Mobilization Task Force of the ECG. They are doing so well. The task force discovered the illegality on Tuesday on its usual rounds to recover monies owed by customers. The task force, aside from chasing people who owe ECG debt, uses the opportunity to check for illegal connections. Here's a quote from Laila Abubakari. By the way, she was at the bazaar. Oh, yeah, she was at the bazaar.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Since it's an illegal connection, we have the first right to disconnect before we deal with the issues. The manager in charge of external communications said, the disconnection is part of a national exercise to collect monies owed ECG by customers and to also ascertain the condition of all meters. The Ghana police would have to come to ECG where a bill will be generated for them covering a period of 12 months, she added. She said power will be restored when they pay the excess charge amount.
You mean they walked bull-chested to the police station?
Yes.
Meanwhile,
the ECG Revenue Mobilization Task Force was held hostage for about 30 minutes after they disconnected the Ghana Post Company over 89,000 CD debt. Oh, Obo, Charlie. The task force was at the premises to conduct its ongoing revenue mobilization exercise on Tuesday when the staff prevented the task force from leaving the Accra main office. I mean, they arrested the ECG people. Obo,
they wanted to parcel them away to
The disconnection exercise is the second week of the month-long exercise aimed at retrieving 5.7 billion on their books. I'm told the ECG boss will come on the show next week.
Okay,
come and give us a situational report on the disconnection.
Yeah, but have they been to the Ghana Army yet?
They go.
Yeah, they have to go.
They go.
Brothers in the system should choke their people.
They should enter the markup. And I think they can disconnect you from stores. No rush. That ECG, they feel the rough. They should disconnect.
They are doing good work.
Yeah, they are working.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
Working for Ghana.
But let me take you to the Ghanaian Times newspaper. If you go to page 3, there are a number of stories there.
You give me the MTN, the 25 million ICT hub.
Oh, okay. You want to hear that first?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's a good story.
Okay, so let me take you through that particular story.
$25 million ICT hub.
It's
a big one.
Okay, if you go to page 9 of the Finder newspaper, it is there. So let me give you that.
17 of the Daily Graphic.
Okay,
it's a big one.
Okay, so Christabel Oboshi Annan, writing for the Finder, says that Ghana's biggest telecommunications network, MTN Ghana, has cut a sword for the construction of a $25 million Ghana ICT hub at the Accra Digital Center. Now, the Ghana ICT hub aims to develop an ICT ecosystem in the areas of health, agriculture, and education through on-site and remote access delivery to facilitate skills development and job creation for the youth in Ghana. When completed, the hub will consist of a physical infrastructure designed to provide 4,000 square meters of space with ancillary facilities and unique features. Now, the Ghana ICT hub is expected to be completed in approximately 18 months from the, the time the construction begins. Good news.
All right.
Good news.
Benito is saying that 70% of the seedlings have survived.
Exactly.
And therefore reports that most of the seedlings from the tree planting sites have died is not true.
Exactly.
He's also sought to clarify the amount owed to seedling providers, that it's in a range of millions and not in billions.
Yeah.
And then a couple stories here. Akufo-Addo has become an expert in sword cutting, according to former President Mahama. This is the chronic. Charlie, this story, pa. The former president, John Mahama, says the president rather has become an expert in sword cutting, but has very little to show in terms of infrastructure development. In his view, Mr. Akufo-Addo has lowered the standard of the country's infrastructure drive with subterfuge and propaganda, laced with empty sloganeering without the corresponding achievements to show. Speaking at Kaswa on the first day of a 3-day campaign of the Central Region, Mr. Mahama accused the MPP of engaging in empty sword cutting. And then he talks about some of the things they said will build hospitals and things. Meanwhile, in that story, there's a number of sword cuttings and then commissionings as well.
Okay.
All right. Now, what else are you bringing us this morning?
Well, if you go to page three of the BNFT, you have the Bank of Ghana governor giving a few updates on the IMF deal. He says talks are progressing well. Now, we do know that the IMF reached a staff level agreement on the facility, or the $3 billion facility, in December 2022. However, there are some prior actions to be achieved.
Yeah, that was what I was reading, yes. That he was joining the information minister to plead.
Yes. Then he spoke about the revenue. But then in other updates, though, he's spoken about banks.
All right.
Now, he says banks with a capital adequacy ratio of less than 10% of their assets have been asked to submit plans for recapitalization.
Okay.
Now, the ratio, a principal financial soundness indicator, demonstrates a bank's ability to finance its long-term capital expenditure and ventures, was reduced from 13% to 10% in December last year as part of a number of measures aimed at mitigating the domestic debt exchange program.
All right.
So those are some.
Let me give you. Okay, Sky, let me come to you first. Before I have a couple of stories I wanted to bring. Students have still not reported to school despite free SHS. This is myjournalline.com. The GES in Ashanti region has revealed that most first-year students expected in various senior high schools in the area have still not reported. Speaking in an interview, the PRO of the Ministry of the Service, Marco Free, expressed worry that the situation had become an annual ritual. Now, or annual routine. There are some of the students who have no idea about their placement, while others are still looking for schools. Some are also in the forest, and haven't heard of it. He told Oyeripa FM. A month ago, GS released the computer placement list for new students who were to be admitted to various secondary schools across the country. This notwithstanding, the GS says most students have still not reported.
Okay.
Now, yes, Sky.
Bernard, let's quickly talk about Kamala Harris, because yesterday she delivered...
She was in Cape Coast and she also spoke to the youth.
Exactly, in Accra, and the Ghanaian Times has that story on page 11. It says Ghana joins Atlantic Cooperation as founding member, according to our president, and also Harris addresses youth at Blackstar Square. U.S. commits to fast-tracking African innovation for economic growth. Jonathan Donko says this morning in a show of his commitment to the refreshed relations with Africa, the United States of America is to partner the continent to fast-track African innovation. The U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has announced. Now, addressing Ghanaian youth yesterday in Accra, she said investment in Africa, ingenuity and creativity was key to unlocking incredible economic growth and opportunities for Africa and beyond. All right. There's the direct quote here, which you can read for yourselves.
All right. In sports, Ghana defeats Algeria to qualify for under 23 AFCON. Story by Edem Kai Kelvin. Citi Sports. The Black Meteors beat Algeria 1-0 in the second leg of the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier at the Kumasi Sports Stadium yesterday, the 28th of March. The result secures their place in the 2023 AFCON, scheduled to kick off 23rd June this year in Morocco. And then finally, the Washington Post has a very, very nice op-ed by the Zambian president on the state of the economy. And I like the candor. I like the clarity with which he wrote in terms of where Zambia is. And this is Hakainde Hikelma, or Hikelma, yeah, he's Zambia's president.
Is that a churchy guy, the pastor? There's one of them who used to be a pastor. One of them.
No. I don't know. I didn't. I know he went to prison and things. I didn't know he was a pastor too.
Okay. So Bernard, finally, let me just quickly bring your attention to approval of president's nominee. Second deputy speaker worried about breach of secrecy.
In the vote.
So this story
is the same thing that CDD gentleman is saying. But this is the second deputy speaker.
Yeah, second deputy speaker.
Was he presiding during the vote?
No, he was not. I think at some point we should read this during the show.
Okay, thank you. I said Nathan, and thank you, Sky. I'm confused. Coming up next is the business news.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, So Sancho's engine just died like that?
Yes, oh.
Somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza Pa.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine
Younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Citi Business News next, brought to you by MTN. Have you wondered how to subscribe to a particular MTN service and how to view, add or cancel your mobile subscription all from one place? Just dial *175# to access and manage all your subscriptions everywhere you go. And Goil, your OMC of choice, keeps making life ever so convenient. We now accept Momo for all fuel you buy. Remember, Momo it at Goil. You can also use your bank card or bank cards, that is, to buy fuel at Goil. Drive to your nearest Goil station today. Goil, good energy. Netili Neti Ajaho is in the house. Good morning, Netili.
Good morning, Bernard, and good morning to everyone out there. Welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. Coming up, business community laments impact of continuous hike in monetary policy rate on operations, and Development Bank Ghana assures of enhancing strategic measures to resolve the bottlenecks that limit economic resilience. To the details now. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has expressed concern over the recent decision by the Bank of Ghana to increase the monetary policy rate by 150 basis points to 29.5%. The chamber posits that the significant increase is alarming and will have a detrimental impact on the business climate in the country. In an interview with Citi Business News, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Mark Bedu Abuaji, noted that in the face of the current challenges business have encountered over the past few years, including the supply chain disruptions, reduced demand, cash flow challenges, and the recent upward adjustment of utility tariffs, the posture adopted by the central bank does not augur well in sustaining a conducive business environment.
The increase in policy rate is inappropriate at this time when businesses are already suffering under high utility prices, high inflation, and rapid depreciation of the local currency. At the moment, if you want to borrow, you are likely to get it between 35 to 40%. So the increase in policy rate means that banks are also going to respond positively by increasing their lending rate, and interest rates are likely to go above 45%. This will increase the cost of doing business in Ghana. Businesses will have no option than to pass on this cost to consumers at a higher prices, and that will also increase the inflation that we are having. Those who are not able to pass on the cost to consumers will be forced to absorb them, and some may collapse. Already, most of them are running at a loss. They are not even breaking even. So a further increase in cost means that they may collapse and lay off people, and the effect on the economy will be dire.
That was the CEO of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu Abuaji. The Development Bank Ghana has revealed that it is committed to enhancing strategic measures to resolve the bottlenecks that limit economic resilience in the country. The bank explains that stimulation techniques towards economic transformation must be championed across all sectors of the economy to spur growth. Speaking at the DBG UGBS Development Finance Dialogue Series in Accra, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Michael Mensah-Ba, assured of the bank's preparedness in building a financial ecosystem that would inspire women and young entrepreneurs towards inclusive growth.
We know that to create economic resilience and accelerate social mobility, we must champion the role of knowledge, innovation, and to be able to measure the impact of our interventions. At DBG, we often speak about the need to make an impact. So here are a few of our key interventions we will deploy to enable us to make an impact. DBG will increase the availability of long-term funding through debt financing, equity financing, and guarantee products to critical industry sectors that have a strong potential to transform our economy, namely the agribusiness, manufacturing, ICT, and value services. We have already invested up to 300 million cedis since we were launched last year. We have also committed 500 million cedis of long-term funding to be invested in the maize, soybean, rice, and poultry value chain in the next 12 to 18 months. This intervention is to enhance food security in Ghana. In addition to providing funding, we'll be complementing our funding with providing customized capacity building to local businesses in the sector of interest.
Michael Mensah is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Development Bank Ghana. Meanwhile, an associate professor at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Vera Fiado, is urging stakeholders to leverage on development financing to address the structural gaps in the financial system.
Our markets are not really structured to provide us with the needed, access to finance that you see in developed economies, because the private sector market, in terms of capital markets, they work quite efficiently, so they always evolve and come up with products. In our case, we have a lot of catching up to do. So what is really happening then is that we are not there yet, and so development finance is more like trying to bridge the gap, because normally there's private funding, then there's public funding. Development finance is trying to straddle the two, provide long-term capital, but at the same time not work from a purely private perspective, in the sense that it's not chasing just profitability in terms of return, some of which don't necessarily yield profitability, but would form the bedrock on which we can ride to then get to the point of profitability. So if we could harness development finance adequately, then we will get to the point where we'll be able to, develop the various markets that will speak to both the separate public sector needs in terms of welfare, etc., and also speak to the private sector need for profitability.
Professor Vera Fiado is with the University of Ghana Business School. The Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana has welcomed the latest reports from the central bank on the total value of mobile money transactions in the first 2 months of 2023. The association added that a 72.6% increment in the mobile money transactions will serve as a catalyst to advance their businesses. Speaking to Citi Business News, General Secretary of the Mobile Money Agents Association, Evans Otumfuo, described the news from the central bank as positive to their disagreement for some government policies.
We see it as a positive signal that we need to jealously guard it. So that is what I think it is to us, because we have been complaining ever since government intended to introduce a policy to the industry. We have all witnessed what really transpired. I mean, we have given so many signals to government that the policy, which is the revenue generation policy, it is something that is really going to be an affront to the progress of the industry and our businesses.
That was the General Secretary of the Mobile Money Agents Association, Evans Otumfuo. Ghana continues to be a preferred destination for many players in the aviation industry, as Ethiopian Airlines has launched additional 4 times weekly night flight operations to Accra. Ethiopian Airlines already operates daily flights from Addis Ababa to Accra, and this new night flight will complement its regular midday flights, making the airline the largest operator by frequency, that is 11 times per week, servicing Kotoka International Airport. Speaking at the launch of the flights, country manager for Ethiopian Airlines, Ghana, Sierra Leone and Liberia, Anile Ashetu, stated that the move is part of efforts towards connecting the various countries on the continent.
As you know, and as I mentioned during the addressing speech, Ethiopian Airlines has been in Ghana for more than 6 decades, uninterrupted service for 63 years. So this is a continuation of our commitment to serve Africa, to connect Africa together and to the rest of the world. So what makes these new evening flights different is that these evening flights will enable the traveling public to travel with more convenience.
That was the country manager for Ethiopian Airlines, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, Anile Ashitu. Now on the interbank foreign exchange markets, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 11 cedis 2 pesos. The British pound gained 1 peso and is selling at 13 cedis 5 pesos, and the euro also remained unchanged and is selling at 11 cedis 9 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus within the capital, the dollar is going for 12 cedis 25 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 90 pesos, and the euro 12 cedis 90 pesos. Let's now join Gillian Hammer of Data Bank for more on the topic, the fundamentals of financial planning. Know where your money goes.
Fundamental number 4, when you are planning for your future, is to know where your money goes. It's important to make sure your expenses are not exceeding your income. The best way to do this is by budgeting. The rule of thumb is that 50% of your money should go towards taking care of your essential living items. 20% should go towards investments, and then the remaining 30% can be used to take care of the things you want but don't necessarily need. However, depending on your personal commitments outside of your immediate family, you may find you need to increase your 50% for essential items to 60 or even 70%. For example, you may be caring for an extended family member or have a social project where you have committed to supporting a person or group in need on a regular basis. If these are commitments you cannot vary, that's fine, but then be prepared to reduce the 30% allocated to your wants. It's good to enjoy yourself, but keep an eye on how those things add up over the course of a month. Making small, manageable changes in your everyday expenses can have as big an impact on your financial situation as getting a pay raise. Also, keeping your recurring monthly expenses as low as possible can save you significant money over time.
That was Gillian Hammer of Data Bank, and that does it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, GOIL, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Nete Ajahu. Have a good business day.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Yes, boy.
7:13 Citi Breakfast Show. Kickoff is next, brought to you by Lesheho and Shell Fuel Safe Super Diesel NV Power. The Shell Savings and Loans has been supporting the investment goals of customers with attractive solutions. With easy access to track your funds, we offer flexible deposit products for 91 days, 182 days, and 365 days. Open a fixed deposit account with us today. Call us on 0577 707 700. Let's achieve your goals together. Let's share savings and loans, a trusted safe haven for your investment. And if anyone had told me I could become a mathematician, cartographer, all in a year, I'd have laughed. But come and see calculations and mappings just because of fuel economy. But now, thanks to Shell, we can save money with the Shell Fuel Save. Its triple action formula improves engine efficiency, prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion for extra clean, extra protection, and extra savings. So switch to Shell Fuel Save today because extra kilometers go a long way. Benjamin Ketias joining us with the sports. So straight into the details, Ben. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Let's get into the headlines. And Ghana's Black Meteors secure place in Under-23 AFCON to be held in Morocco. Boxer Anthony Joshua has hinted that he could retire if he loses his upcoming bout this weekend. And in the NBA, there were wins for the Wizards, the Warriors, and Charlotte Hornets. Now, Ghana has qualified for the Under-23 AFCON this June after beating Algeria by 1-0 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Now, Fatal Isahaku scored the only goal, which was in Kumasi, to help the Black Meteors progress on a 2-1 aggregate scoreline. The Under-23 AFCON will take place in Morocco from June 24 to July 8, with the top 3 teams qualifying for the 2024 Olympic Men's Football Tournament in Paris, while the 4th place team will face a team from Asia in a playoff. So Ghana have qualified to the AFCON. Hopefully they can go there, impress, and make it all the way to the Olympic Games. Let's get to some other news. And former Ghana footballer Mohamed Polo has expressed his belief that the Black Stars can improve their performance in the 2023 AFCON qualifiers after earning 4 points from Angola this month. Now, Ghana emerged victorious with a 1-0 win over Angola in Kumasi and played out a 1-1 draw in Luanda on Monday. Despite the success, Mohamed Polo, who was part of the 1978 AFCON winning team, feels that Chris Hughton's squad has more room for improvement.
Well, I think that one is that the telepathy is still lacking, the understanding, the finishing, and the team playing is lacking some sort of agency. So individuals, and they have to work it out gradually. But we don't have time with the national team, so they have to do something about it. The coach has to do something about it. Give it some sort of understanding. The game that they played the last time, the telepathy was not there, and the fighting spirit was. They did everything, up to the last minute that they got a goal. It is not bad.
So you heard former Ghana footballer Mohamed Polo speaking there. Now staying with the Black Stars, former assistant coach of the Black Starlets, Winfred Dorman, has expressed his admiration for Chris Hughton's coaching and the team's performance in a recent 2-game series against Angola. However, Dorman advised against setting unrealistic expectations for Hughton's tenure as head coach at the early stages.
We were more cautious. We kept a good discipline sheet. But it was the Angolans who had to score. And yes, we frustrated them. But they find a way to block our defense. A penalty call, justifiable penalty call. They scored. This is where the coaching came in. Good substitution once again. Good staffs who came on and really impacted the game. You have to give it to the technical team. They did a yeoman's job. 2 games, 1 win, 1 drew. You have to give it to him. But it's still early days. They still have a long way to go. And Ghanaians, the way they love their football, the pressure will come, the expectations will come. So it's still early days. I would advise that he takes each game as and when it comes.
So you heard former Black Starlets head coach Winfred Dorman speaking there. Let's get to some other stuff and let's catch up with the other results from the AFCON qualifiers that were played yesterday. Botswana, they lost by 2-3 to Equatorial Guinea, and then Eswatini also lost by 1-0 to Cape Verde. Malawi were thrashed by 4-0 by Egypt, and then Namibia, in the surprise result of the round, beat Cameroon by 2-1. Gambia also beating Mali by 2-1, and then South Africa also beating Liberia by 2-1 in their own encounter. If you go further, you see Mozambique, they lost at home to Senegal by 1-0. So today there's Rwanda taking on Benin, and that's what to look out for as far as the AFCON qualifiers are concerned. Let's get to some other stuff, and it's match week 24 in the Ghana Premier League. There's midweek action at 3 p.m. today. There's Kimfezo versus Karela Brekum. Chelsea take on Adriana. There's Tamale City versus Insuatraman. Samatex take on Kotoku Royals. Bechem United up against Dreams FC, and then Mediama Sporting Club will also be up against Bibiani Gold Stars at 6 p.m. Accra Hearts of Oak who take on Accra Lions. Now, assistant coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, David Oklu, is hoping that his team can bounce back after last Saturday's defeat at Karela.
We go back and right the wrongs and work more on the positives. Okay, we are still in a title race. It's left with 12 matches. Yeah, anything can happen. This is football. Okay, so we are still in. We are going back, like I rightly said, and correct the wrongs and try and work more and take the positives and work on it.
So you heard Accra Hearts of Oak assistant coach David Oklu speaking there. Now tomorrow there's Legon Cities versus Asante Kotoko, and then there's RTU versus Great Olympics. Let's get to some other stuff. And Euro 2024 qualifiers played yesterday. Georgia played out a 1-1 draw with Norway. Let's get to some Premier League related stuff. And former Ivorian defender Kolo Toure has lauded Mikel Arteta for being a source of inspiration to young managers due to his exceptional managerial success at Arsenal. Arteta's team is currently positioned at the top of the Premier League table with a 10-point lead over Manchester City with only 10 games left in the season. Now, despite Toure's commendation of the Spanish coach, he has also cautioned Arsenal about the looming threat posed by City in the race for the Premier League title.
It's been incredible. What he's doing as a young manager, inspiring us. And when you look at him, we're like, oh yeah, this is a guy that we played with against a few times. This is a young manager. You can see the energy he's bringing. You can see his understanding of the game. Of course, he was really lucky to work with one of the best or the best manager in the world, Pep Guardiola. Of course, learning from him. It was vital for him, but he did learn well, because what he's doing is incredible. And Arsenal have to be really careful. Arsenal have to really make sure that they don't slip, because this Man City, they will give everything until the last game.
Now, Arsenal's lead at the top of the table is 8 points and not 10 points. As earlier stated, and you heard former Arsenal defender Kolo Toure speaking there. Let's do some boxing. And Anthony Joshua has admitted that he will retire from boxing on Saturday evening if he loses to Jermaine Franklin in his comeback fight at the O2 Arena. The former two-time world champion will return to the ring on Saturday to face the American heavyweight after suffering successive defeats to Alexander Usyk. Joshua is looking to make a statement and record his first professional win since December 2020 when he beat Kobrav Pulev via a technical knockout. So Anthony Joshua, he will be seeking some redemption in the ring over the weekend. If that redemption does not come, he is planning to probably hang up his gloves. It will be interesting to see how that particular bout plays out. So we are looking forward to that Jermaine Franklin versus Anthony Joshua fight. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketiah, the small sport at citisportsonline.com.
Let's go. If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go. Hey, mama, hey, mama, hey, mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to Let's go. No matter your situation, come to Let's go. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey, let's go, hey, let's go, hey, mama, hey, mama, hey, mama. Let's go, we improve your life. Leshego Savings and Loans. Let's improve life.
Extra, extra. Let me tell you all about it.
Hey, Dolomistic. You and this your extra thing. Abeg, tell me about it.
Abenquine, look, extra is what you and your car get when you switch to Shell Fuel Save. Extra protection, extra clean, and extra savings. You get it?
And no, tell me extra.
Shell Fuel Save is designed to improve engine efficiency instantly and with triple action formula that helps protect your engine from wear, corrosion, and deposit, so you get extra kilometers out of your drive.
Sir, and they're not extra, good for your engine. Extra, good for your pocket.
Extra kilometers goes a long way. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today. Go well.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Choose low prices this Easter at ShopRite. Choose from our great selection of mouth-watering rolls, amazing assortment of 100% always fresh fruits and vegetables, and all your freshly baked favorites at delicious Easter treats. Get great deals on 1 liter Lily Sunflower cooking oil for only 49 cedis, 99 pence worth, and Sierra Chicken Franks 340 grams for just 16 cedis, 99 pence worth. Choose the best from our wide range this Easter. Offers valid until 10th April only at ShopRite.
Awesome is not enough when you can amplify it. I mean, way up. If your phone doesn't have a 5000 mAh battery that allows you to use it from morning to night for 2 days, or a super fast processor that makes you stream, download, and game at high speed, or a 50 megapixel camera that allows you to take stunning photos even at night, or a 6.6-inch FHD plus screen that brings images to life and expands your view, then you need to amp your awesome. Get the new Samsung Galaxy A14 and amp your style, your speed, your play, your power, your game, and your awesome. Visit any authorized Samsung store and make it yours today. Samsung Galaxy A14.
Come on, just a bite.
No, Elom is here. My late.
Please, you never say no to my Indomie.
Is that the new Indomie beef flavor?
Indomie, you like no other.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Your great tasting noodles in a delicious new beef flavor like no other. Indomie tastes great. This advert is FDA approved.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xbet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Health Tidbits is brought to you by the Nyaho Medical Center.
Welcome to Nyaho Health in the City. The time has finally come to meet your little one. Yes, labor and delivery can be a daunting experience, but proper preparation and a supportive team can make the experience memorable. Here are some things to keep in mind. 1. Prepare a birth plan with your doctor, outlining your preferences for pain management, delivery, and postpartum care. 2. Pack your hospital bag with all the essentials you need during your hospital stay. 3. Ensure you have a supportive team with you, including your partner or a trusted friend or family member. But most importantly, select a qualified healthcare team to guide you through this process. Remember, every delivery is unique and unexpected complications can arise. Our mother and child unit is made up of experts who will care for you and your baby throughout labor and delivery. Call or WhatsApp us on 050-143-6662 for further enquiries, or follow Nyaho Medical Center on social media for more health in the city tips. Nyaho, improving your quality of life.
Health Tidbits was brought to you by the Nyaho Medical Center.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Sabidi makumenyi na mawa Ubetumi ya somuye Sabidi midonyi na mawa Ubetumi ya somuye Odoye nchasiye Odoye abutrewa Odoye chinyewa Yeah, no one you free. Yeah, no one you free. Try. Obi me do be a. Ne free ni sikantra. Sikayo, sikaya. Obi so me do be a. Ne free na wo fe wa. I want fancy in Yamiama. Vinsubano Bia Nefri Nadio Binti, and so me do it your dokai. Me do it your dokan. Oh, baby, I am a fool. Oh, baby, I am a feba. I don't can't Odoya botrewa Odonye chinyewa Najame sawani sa Adomenyi mema 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 Adoye ntasio I want fancy in Yamiama. I don't mean you, I don't say I'm a try. I don't mean you, I want fancy in Yamiama. I don't mean you, yeah, Carolina. I don't mean you, I don't ain't just you. I want to hear me and Chedia. I don't mean you, I don't have a try. I don't mean you, I don't mean you, I
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
7:33. It's Wednesday the 29th. All right, a couple of birthdays coming in. This one is from Marian Kuchianu of ADB to Priscilla Ekunmensa, of course, our colleague here at Citi. It's a new chapter of your lovely, selfless, and caring personality. My dear friend and sis, I pray the Lord continues to bless, protect, favor, preserve, and perfect whatever He has in store for you. You are blessed beyond measure. I cherish you so much. Coming in from Marian Kuchianu of ADB to Priscilla Ekunmensa, who's the PA of the MD. Of course, we on the Citi CBS, we join ourselves to this request. Happy birthday, Priscilla. Have a blast. Also wishing Michael Ewura, environmental analyst of Bonkatamanso Municipal Assembly, a happy birthday. God bless your new age. Coming in from Godson Tingi. And then a whole raft of requests coming through this morning to our special woman, our mother, Madam Abigail Okainle Ayi, formerly of Ridge Hospital. Mommy, you've been a pillar, our prayer warrior, our superwoman, our best friend, and the best chef we've ever known. From your daughters, Mrs. Vera Tete, Georgina Ajete, and Sandra Ajete. Good morning, wishing Mrs. Katharina Oyo Falconer, alias Tolala, of St. Augustine's Anglican Church, Dansoman, a happy 79th birthday from all her 7 children. Am I mentioning this right? Or is it Tolala? I'm not sure.
Tolala.
Towlala.
Tolala.
Okay. Catherine, Charlie, I'm not sure.
Tolala.
Please send that.
Tolala, dear Charlie. So let's give it Tolala.
Towlala.
Your mind.
Yeah.
Your mind. The typical way will be Tolala because I know a Tulala.
So Mrs. Katharina Oyo Falconer, aka alias
Tolala.
I need a gunman to explain that.
No, it's Tolala. It's a nickname.
No, it's Tolala.
No, it's Tolala.
I like that one. Tolala too is what? Too is some animal.
Chinese.
No, Oluga kra. No, too is some.
Yeah. It's good. But clearly, I don't think it has anything to do with goats. I just think it's in the
Tolala.
But the woman is 79. She's not a small girl.
So you
can't call a 79-year-old woman Tolala.
The name, you get the name longest.
No, in daughter will send a voice note. Don't worry.
Problem. The nickname has been in existence for years.
But 79, they call you Tolala because
it is the same way. Alonski at 79, somebody will send a message.
It is Tolala, aka goat music.
Okay. No problem. That's fine.
All right. Happy 60th birthday to our mom, Mrs. Ruby Eshen. God bless and protect and guide you in this journey. From your daughters, Malisa, Joanne Shirley, and Dr. Karen Eshen.
This one says, happy birthday to a friend and boss, Ama Sewa Nekwi Tete, board member and secretary general of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO. That's coming from Michael Ashite Ama.
Okay, so let me send this one out to Hannah Owusu Boachi, who is the principal health information officer at Presbyterian Hospital in Agogo, in the Ashanti region. It is coming in from your husband, who says, glorious, gorgeous birthday to my pride, best half, my Garden of Eden, in which I keep prayer, partner, and Oga in the house. God bless your kind and good self.
Garden and Eden.
It's coming in from your husband, Yao Boachi.
The procurement manager at Total Energies wants the team to wish his wife a happy birthday. A Rabina Addo of Medastema. My prayer for you on this special day is from Proverbs 31. Love you always, gorgeous, from your husband Yao and the girls Edubia, Sapoma, and Damia.
And today is also the birthday of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana.
Oh,
Nana Addo Dankwa.
The great and juganistic Nana Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
Oh, Addo D.
Yes, Addo D.
Yes,
Addo D.
And today is Wednesday.
Yeah. Today is Addo D.
Which means we can estimate, when your birthday falls on the day you were born, it means it's a powerful day. So how old is he now?
It's 70 It's 70 something.
Usually your birthday falls on your day.
There's a certain math to it.
Every 7 years or so.
There's a certain math to it.
I think,
I think
it's 79 years
or something.
79.
Yeah, because he was born in 1944. March 29.
But our president is stronger than most 79. I mean, when you compare... No, serious. It's fit. I mean, when you look at some of the people who they claim they are 70 in other countries. No. We have to thank God for his life.
Genetic composition.
I'm telling you, Charlie, 79 pounds. They give speech, they dance.
You see, what is on his side too is his height.
No, he's solid.
Normally,
he's together.
Yeah. Normally, when you are of a certain height like that, you are almost.
What are you saying about we the tall people?
Yeah, you see, when you grow older, you grow down. That's.
But he is solid.
Yeah,
he's not moving.
Yeah. Can't we?
Charlie, we pray for that kind of energy.
Yeah,
So Addo D. Charlie, let's play a song for the president.
Yes.
Charlie, the economy is difficult.
I'm not going to say he's inside.
Nana, and you will Yama wife. Nana,
Nana Koso.
How does Luma be said? The Luma.
Nana Koso.
As if I knew more.
That's story.
Nana, and you will the man wife. And you will hear the bomb or why? Only until the Kina and Massacre.
That's only the America.
And Monsama, your wife. One of the things I like is when they do these like formal events and then you see the president hit the floor.
Yeah, they clap like that.
They Charlie. Yeah, Kamala. Let's
they are the banquet.
The president, he has style. He chop life in the way he even walks. I like that. He's vivacious, full of life. You know what I'm saying? He's Charlie.
He just enjoy himself.
No, this Charlie, Mr. President. May you live long.
But for give boy something. Has to be the baby
All right, now later this morning we'll try and find out why Bagwin is so angry. The Speaker of Parliament is absolutely insane. I mean, incensed, I should say, in the way he interpreted the comments of the U.S. President. I'm going to play those voice clips for you, and then we'll try and find out what really is going on behind the scenes with this. If they need, true point, with this LGBTQ plus bill and the angst of the speaker, we'll also try and find out if it's really within the bosom of Parliament alone, what kind of power the president has, because from the speaker's comments, it appears he's saying to the president, stay away, don't try and interfere with what we are doing in Parliament. But let me mention a couple more birthdays. Happy birthday to our daughter, Erela Mami Intriwa Esaba Aqua, aka Lady Palm, from your dad Seth, your mom Araba, and your brothers Ace and Ansley. And then happy birthday to my good friend lawyer Joycelyn Ama. Yesterday was your birthday, so happy belated birthday to you, Joycelyn. Great singer, wonderful lawyer. So we are requesting this song on behalf of Auntie Becky too.
Yes. To Nana G.
She hasn't sent us, but we are.
Nana guy.
She hasn't sent us, but we are sent. We have sent ourselves. They didn't play my loom, but this one is a different. I'd have played a different version, but we'll take it like.
Anyway, one final one from our very lovely colleague Hawa. To her husband. This one, Charlie.
Oh, today's Hawa's birthday.
Charlie, say happy birthday to my husband, Idrisu Mustafa.
Oh.
You are just as perfect as the Almighty Allah made you for me. Charlie, listen. This is the killer part of the message. The killer part of the message says, "Get ready to be pampered extraordinarily tonight."
I thought Hawa was fasting. Allez, let's get serious, people. Let's get serious with our work. Now, from now to end of March, insure your vehicle with Imperial General Assurance and win some great rewards. Now, just insure and pick up a reward. It could be a fuel coupon, it could be a gift voucher, or a special souvenir. Call 0302-788-955 or 057-766-7436. Imperial is giving you a free 1 year life insurance cover as part of your motor insurance cover. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection.
Now, the British Council is saying that they want to help you get a great experience. Remember, those who study in the UK get more than just a degree. They get a world of valuable experiences. Now, the British Council can do that for you. Visit their website to find out how you can own your future. Now, galamsey is not a good thing. We've been talking about it. You've seen the effects on TV. You've read about it in the newspapers. You've listened to the stories on radio. And so if you want to mine, just find more responsible mining methods under the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program and sign on to those. Respect the laws of our country. Help protect the future of our children. This message is powered by the Ministry of Lands and Resources and the Minerals Commission of Ghana. If you are thinking of taking up a degree in nursing, then sign up to Heritage Christian College's BSc Nursing degree. Now, you get to learn in great labs. You get great practical training that will set you up well for the world of work. Now, if you don't want that, you want to do other programs, BBA programs, BSc Information Technology, BSc Information Security, and Bachelor of Theology for those who want to study the religious side of things. Get to Heritage Christian College. They are at Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium. Call 0547 77731 or 0202-298-399, or you can dial *789*300# to get an online serial number and apply at hcuc.edu.gh. Heritage Christian College, university training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
Join Upstairs Ready to Work podcast on Facebook and YouTube this Thursday, that's tomorrow, 30th March, 10 a.m. Our team of experts are eager to share tips on how your business can stand out in a competitive marketplace. Don't miss out. Let's get ready to work. That's Africana Citi. That's ABSA. And introducing the iVest account from Easyway Savings and Loans, a fixed term investment account that delivers great returns on your investment over a short period of time with no haircuts. Start with 5,000 cedis, watch your money grow. Call Easyway Savings and Loan 0550-144-144 or visit easyway.com.gh for more information. iVest, no haircut. iVest, excellent returns guaranteed. And when you hear the sound, poppy, what does it remind you of? Sure, it's a refreshing fun yogurt, delicious fun choco, and the fun ice so nice. For more than 60 years, Fun Milk PLC has been there for us, giving us high quality, delicious and nutritious products. Fun Milk says we did for you, Ankasa. So go ahead and enjoy your favorite Fun Yogo strawberry, Fun Choco, and Fun Ice at 3 cedis for the 145 ml pouch and 2 cedis for the 100 ml pouch. You may also call us on 030-700-0595. Now, a number of you are asking about I read an announcement yesterday about Fun Milk saying if you wanted to be a vendor. So the number to call is the same number I just read, 030, I think it is 700-0595. So if you want to be a fun, I think they said if you have 10,000 CDs, you can be a Fun You Go vendor. So 030-700-0595. Yep. So call that number, and they will set you up to start earning up to 10% monthly returns. Really, really good opportunity. Yeah. So this is an announcement for Farm Milk. Now, all right. So why is Speaker Bagbin so upset? Let's hear him first, and I'll sort of work my way back. Yesterday he met some traditional leaders. I think some religious leaders. I think it was in Parliament.
So he had a breakfast.
A breakfast meeting, yes. And I mean, we know him to be candid. Bagbin is. I mean, one of the things I like about our speaker is that he speaks his mind. Yeah. For that one, and he's been doing so for years. I mean, I don't know who. I've never seen anybody who intimidates that guy. He will say what he has to say and he will move on with his life. You know, he said Parliament is corrupt. He couldn't do anything. And we have to appreciate that. We don't agree with everything he says, but the fact that he will say what he thinks is a good thing. So here he was yesterday, and I really wasn't sure why he was so angry, because when I listened to in fact, let me start this. So let's listen to Kamala Harris. So let's start from the beginning. This is the U.S. Vice President, and New York Times journalist had asked about Ghana's LGBTQ plus law. That was still in the works, the bill that was still in the works. And this was Kamala Harris's response. Then I'll play for you the president's response, and then you would hear Speaker Bagbin's response. So let's hear Madam Harris.
And let me be clear about where we stand. First of all, for the American press who are here, you know that a great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I will also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider, to be a human rights issue, and that will not change.
So that's Kamala Harris, Vice President of the U.S. She's in Ghana. She's currently in the Central region. We'll be touching base with it.
Okay, so that was the voice clip of Kamala Harris. Now here's the president's answer to the same question.
So first of all, we don't have any such legislation here in Ghana. A bill has been proposed to the Parliament of Ghana, which has all kinds of ramifications, which is now being considered by the Parliament. It hasn't been passed, so the statement that there is legislation in Ghana to that effect is not accurate. No legislation. The bill is going through the Parliament. It's going through the Parliament. The Attorney General has found it necessary to speak to the committee about it regarding the constitutionality or otherwise of several of its provisions, and the Parliament is dealing with it. At the end of the process, I will come in. But in the meantime, the Parliament is dealing with it. And I have no doubt that the Parliament of Ghana will show, as it's done in the past, first of all, its sensitivity to human rights issues, as well as to the feelings of our population, and will come out with a responsible response to the proposed. The legislation was a legislation that is being provided as a private member's bill. This is not an official legislation of the government, but it is one that has been mooted by a handful of private members. So we will see what the final outcome of it. But my understanding from a recent discussion I had with the chairman of the committee, the substantial elements of the bill have already been modified as a result of the intervention of the Attorney General. We will see what the final outcome will be, and that is the stage at which I will also have the opportunity to prove it.
So that was the president's answer. Now here's Speaker Bagbin's comment.
As the Vice President just did, yesterday, I mean, these things should not be tolerated. That is undemocratic. What is democracy? That somebody else will have to dictate to me as to what is good and what is bad? Unheard of. Because we have decided to devalue ourselves and go a-begging. Come on. We have more than enough. God has created more than enough for every person. It's just because we are looking at somebody else's share, not yours. We have enough in the world. The bill will be passed. This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution. Wait until we pass it and then we direct you to execute it. That is why you come in. That is why we are representatives of the people. So in terms of law, which is part of policy, we finalize it. And then the executive now have the authority to implement it, to execute it. Let's get this clear. Once this bill is before here, he is not in charge. I am in charge. We need to legislate. Our friends just passed their law in Uganda. We may not go the way they have gone because our constitution is very clear as to the direction we should move. And so we'll be guided by that. Because if we pass any law against the constitution, it's unconstitutional. So we have to do that. And so what are you afraid of? If you have the whole people behind you, if God is with you, who can be against you? And if God says, please, go into the wilderness, multiply and fill the world. That is God giving you that command. If somebody says, please, don't multiply, how can that person be strong? I don't only speak this way in Ghana. Even at the last meeting we attended in IPU at Bahrain, anybody who listened to my speech, there were sentences on this matter. Luckily, maybe because it's a Muslim country, they applauded me. If it's somewhere else, they will be asking questions.
All right, so that was Speaker Bagbin, 5 minutes to 8. I'm a bit like listening to the U.S. Vice President. I think my first mistake, I didn't get the question. You listened to the question, right? Who asked the question? The New York Times reporter?
Yes, the correspondent.
What was he asking? About the status of because in that the president sought to even correct the question.
I don't want to paraphrase.
Yes, because the president was saying that it's not correct to say that there's a law on LGBTQ and that it's a bill which is still in the works. So in listening to the president's answer, it's very clear that there was some sort of supposition in the question. But my first confusion is that when I listened to Kamala Harris's comment, I didn't see anything in the answer worthy of the kind of anger Speaker Babin is expressing, unless of course I played only a truncated version of the answer, and unless of course there's more to this than just the answer. Do you follow my point?
So the question was about the Biden administration's commitment to calling out any foreign government that advanced anti-gay legislation or violated human rights.
So Biden's government's commitment.
It is not her government. It is Biden's administration.
To countries that do what?
About Biden's administration's commitment to calling out foreign governments that advance anti-gay legislation or violate human rights.
So anti-gay legislation and violate human rights in the same sentence. Okay. So Kamala Harris's answer was that they know her record and that she thinks it's a human rights issue. So she's linked the gay right to human rights.
I feel strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting the fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider to be a human rights issue, and that will not change.
Okay, so that's a very short answer.
Yes, that's what she said.
The president's answer was more elaborate.
Yes, he was more elaborate.
He was talking about, he was trying to distinguish between the fact that it is a law and then it's a bill in the works. And then he was talking about the fact that the Constitution will guide the law and that the law will also have to align with the sentiment of Ghanaians. So, and then, but I think the part of the answer that probably annoyed Babin was where he said, it's not yet with me, so that when it comes to me, then I'll do what I have to do. So it sort of suggests that he has some powers to do something about the law when Parliament brings it to him, which is what Mr. Babin was referring to. But his original anger was with Kamala Harris, and I'm perplexed. I didn't get, unless of course I misunderstand the language of diplomacy, because if you read the question that was asked was Joe Biden's administration's position on calling out countries that pass anti-gay legislation and laws that violate human rights. And Kamala Harris says they know her record and that she will, basically, she's in line, right? Then Mr. Babin is like, the way she was talking was undemocratic. So I'm not sure if I'm missing something here. Maybe you have to help me. And I know he's a speaker, so he probably, sorry, did they have a meeting?
Well,
did the speaker meet her personally?
No. What is known is that the president and the visiting vice president had a closed-door meeting.
Okay.
At which various things were discussed. I'm not going to discuss what I may have heard about the discussions that went on behind closed doors. But I would say that the Honorable Bagbin is the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, the third most powerful person in the country, and also may come across privileged information as to what gets discussed, what doesn't get discussed, and then appears to have, plug into what was said publicly to take issue with how the U.S., it would seem, is seeking to push legislations that recognize, or does not.
No, I think the question was that the Biden administration has said that they will call out countries that have laws that
antagonize persons who are.
So I get the impression the New York Times reporter was trying to invite some sort of comment on the law, and juxtaposing it with the U.S. government's close relationship with Ghana, because Vice President Harris has been full of praise for Ghana. And if you listen to U.S. officials at the highest level, from the ambassador, it's almost like Ghana and U.S. relationship is in a very good place. So I think the journalist was trying to sort of pierce into that to say, look, these guys you are saying are doing so well are contemplating a law that your administration says, if the law gets passed, obviously it's not the law you will support. So what is your comment? Now, Madam Harris did not actually make reference to the law specifically. She just made some general answer.
But you see, I think what Bagbin is taking issue with, if you were to make a deduction from what she said, is that she considers, gay and lesbian rights and related rights as human rights issues, and that has been her position throughout her.
And that they know that that's her position.
Exactly. Now, if you sit with that within the context of what the legislation in Ghana is seeking to do, it is to say that we do not recognize as a human right issue gay and lesbian rights. Do you understand? So Bagbin's position has consistently been, and of course, the Honorable Professor Michael Quaye, previous Speaker of the House, also advocated a similar position, that gay and lesbian rights are not human rights. And end of discussion. And the current parliament is moving forward with that to advance a legislation which specifically criminalizes, because if you look at the existing legislation, there's academic and legal debate as to whether or not there is express prohibition of gay and lesbian rights within our country. Of course, the law talks about unnatural carnal knowledge. Justice Duche, in a very solid judgment, sought to explain what natural carnal knowledge is and what it will mean if it is unnatural carnal knowledge. But the law is silent on whether gay and lesbian activities are expressly prohibited. So there's some academic debate on that. Now, this legislation seeks to remove all doubts as to what the Ghanaian position is, because the existing law is subject to all kinds of interpretations. So the US's position is that people with these rights, these new rights, as they call them in the West, would have to be equally protected, and that there should be nothing as to take away from the enjoyment of their rights. If they want to marry, allow them to marry. If they want to socialize in public, whatever they want to do, if they want to socialize, allow them to do that. There should be nothing to take away from those rights. The people who are advancing this legislation are saying that no, Ghanaian custom, Ghanaian law, or Ghanaian practices don't value, don't accept these kinds of things, and therefore...
So gay rights are not human rights,
exactly,
according to the people proposing the law.
Yeah.
So this is where the distinction is.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're saying that Mr. Bagbin's angst was on the basis that former Vice President Harris is equating gay rights to human rights.
Yeah.
And by so doing, saying that her position is that she will be against the law. President of Ghana was trying to say that the Attorney General has actually looked at the law and modified it, and that if the law is passed, it will be in line with our constitution.
Okay.
And that it will also align with Ghanaian values and sentiments, and that it hasn't come to me yet. This was the president's answer. Let's take a break and come back and deconstruct the president's answer, and then try and see whether there's really any, is this a storm in a teacup, or is there a bigger issue happening that we don't know? That's what I'll try and address on the show this morning. It's 8:03. Tech and social media trends brought to us by Vodafone. Exciting news. Vodafone Cash now allows payments to all merchant numbers on other networks. Remember how frustrating it is when you couldn't make payments for goods you bought because Vodafone Cash wasn't accepted on those merchant numbers? Well, it's now easy to do this. Dial *110#, select option 1 to send money, option 2 to other networks, and follow the prompts to send the money. Experience the ease of transacting on Vodafone Cash. Use Vodafone Cash today. All right, Nathan.
Yeah, very interesting things in the trend. So sports related. Fatal Isahaku is in the trends. He scored the goal that sent the Black Meteors to the Under-23 AFCON. So he's trending. Other footballers, Barnier is trending. Otowado is trending. A spillover from conversations around the Meteors, Black Stars, and all of those things. Yaya Santua is also trending. Now, there was an interview that GTV's morning show host on TV, Kafui Day, he interviewed a lawyer and a historian, and he was talking about Yaya Santua, and several people are talking about it. It's just created a lot of debates on social media. On the tech side of things, the BBC is saying that artificial intelligence could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. That's according to a report put together by investment bank Goldman Sachs.
Why?
Now, it could replace a quarter of work tasks in the US and Europe, but may also mean new jobs and a productivity boom.
Maybe they should counterbalance the new jobs with the lost jobs, and let's see the net.
And it says it could eventually increase the total annual value of goods and services produced globally.
But if the value goes
7%.
up and 300 million people lose their jobs, what have you gained? So what is value? You see my point? I'm not against technology, but if you say it will make things... If 300 million people lose their work, do you know what that means for the world economy? Well, in terms of the strain it places. It looks like, it's almost like, well, we can do things faster, so let's do it. And then whatever effect it has on human beings, we don't care.
No, I think if you look at it more broadly, the conversation has always been let's retrain. Okay. So that if you are currently...
The 300 million people.
Yeah, that's right. Because if you don't retrain and retool yourself, you become redundant.
We are not saying we are against technology. I'm just saying that...
No, I understand that, yeah.
There should always be there's a trade-off, right? And we should always place the human being at the center of the policy.
Let me give you a typical example. Back in the UK, I wrote a paper on how artificial intelligence could intervene in so many spaces, including how we do our work as lawyers. And then also you look at journalism, for instance. There are newsrooms today where journalists are not reading the news on air. AI is doing a better job. They don't make mistakes. They pronounce the words.
But who tells you that listeners want news without mistakes? Sometimes they just want you to be human.
No.
So what problem are you solving by saying that artificial intelligence can read the news?
No, the position is that they are doing it more efficiently.
That's my point. That's my problem.
The question is, and then also, for instance, judgments. There have been discussions around putting AI in courtrooms as judges.
Imagine AI trying to mimic your laughter.
Maybe it will do it much more efficient.
No, we can discuss this later. I just feel we should always balance. It's worrying for me. It's almost like, hey, we can do it. Let's do it. People 300 million. You know why? The tech industry has lost 200 million jobs. I'm not sure. Like almost every week for the past 2 months. There's technology companies are sacking people.
Yeah.
All right. So you are going to add another 300 million people, and you are announcing it triumphantly. I'm not supposed to be happy about that. But especially I don't even see the benefit of the so-called technological advancement directly. I'm not against technology, but it's almost like the human being is so dispensable. So let's get AI. Let's say no.
Find new jobs for them.
If people don't have work, do you know what it means for an economy?
Yeah, it creates problems.
It's a big situation. Yeah. More people go to hospital, more people get depressed. So let's have a more holistic view on development.
That's true. I agree.
All right.
With
so
that.
I'm not against your paper. I even want to read it.
No, I would.
Let me read it.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number. The way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now, on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Straight. Direct. Sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant number on other networks. So, whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today.
Vodafone. Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Awesome is not enough when you can amplify it. I mean, way up. If your phone doesn't have a 5000 mAh battery that allows you to use it from morning to night for 2 days, or a super fast processor that makes you stream, download, and game at high speed, or a 50 megapixel camera that allows you to take stunning photos even at night, or a 6.6-inch FHD plus screen that brings images to life and expands your view, then you need to amp your awesome. Get the new Samsung Galaxy A14 and amp your style, your speed, your play, your power, your game, and your awesome. Visit any authorized Samsung store and make it yours today. Samsung Galaxy A14.
Come on, just a bite.
No, Elom is here. My late.
Please, you never say no to my Indomie.
Bobby, we are late. Hey, is that the new Indomie beef flavor?
Indomie, you like no other.
Introducing Indomie Beef Flavor, your great tasting noodles in a delicious new beef flavor like no other. Indomie tastes great. This advert is FDA approved.
Haven't you heard? EGL's Ramadan Easter promotion. Dear customer, Assalamu alaikum.
Ramadan Kareem.
Electroland Ghana Limited is offering you quality products from Samsung, Toshiba, Nasco, and Media. Choose your choice. Media AC, Samsung AC, Nasco AC. Still confusion at your bazaar.
Ramadan Mubarak.
With 229 Ghana cedis, get yourself a Nasco gas stove. Buy one, get one free. So stocks last. With 1,099 Ghana cedis, a Nasco television is yours. Grab your TV ranging from 32 inches, 40 inches to 98 inches. I tell you.
Simply put it, all types of refrigerators and washing machines, microwaves and sound bars are available this Easter and Ramadan.
Electroland Ghana Limited Easter promotion. Don't let this opportunity pass you by.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Just to destroy baby jet. It will let mongo. It will let mongo. The check away, say move front and stand up back and wine and me then. So jagela, so pressure on the coin the rest of coin, yeah. Came my yappy, but I soon the chant and a man share. No. Shama can say, na me moody and wash it. Shama Buddha, me Buddha, dear, na me moody and more than it. Shama Fidja man does you, come in me more there. Buddha, ya. Nana Yamina Bachelor. Me no back Guraka pay. I try as Yaman sign, ya know ya. Nana Yamina Bachelor. Maya won't campaign. I try as Yaman sign, Budo ya. Nana Yamina Bachelor. Eh, and if I want some many, under me who I share. If I want to my baby, I know. That is our work for the air. If I want some many, under what to my, Pampana, Mini would do you want to buy.
Yeah, Odami no me no ya chei ya wodo kai. Enti mi dey enkasa, mini wude ya odo pa. Yeah, Odami no me no ya chei ya wodo kai. Anterabe, watcha mo na mi ya bioma. And I know I did na me ai. Ono na goya mama say masa. Anterabe, watcha mo na mi ya bioma. And I know I did na me ai. Ono na goya mama say masa. Why do? She must see my sense and a gas oil. The men who nina one other way. And say food be told me that she be just. She want boom slow me men who defense. It's in me young pauses. Yeah, happy day and so called that. She 1, 2, 3, a jack, a dim. If I want some woman under me,
So it's 40 minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show, and we're still on this. So maybe is it a storm in a teacup, or is it are there big issues behind the scenes? We'll try and address that. But Nathan has a couple of quick announcements.
Well, yeah, family and friends, join your rock star Kwame Eugene and win this Easter Monday, April 10 at the Ifa Sutherland Children's Park to witness the biggest fanfare and playground in Accra. Get your tickets for only 5 Ghana cedis. Indomie Fest this year is packed with a lot of fun activities, food, and exciting performances. Come join us with your family and friends. Let's have fun. Powered by TikTok and Links Entertainment. Enjoy your breakfast with the nourishing goodness of Dano Milk, Cool Cow Instant Powdered Milk. The rich taste of Dano Milk makes a perfect combo with your tea, oats, cocoa, etc. to give you that great tasting breakfast you've always desired. Dano Milk Cool Cow is fortified with vitamin A, and it's a good source of protein and nutrients such as vitamin B12 and iodine to help you stay nourished and strong always. Dano Milk is affordable and is in a shop near you. Dano Milk, go for it. This ad is FDA approved. Premium quality Namibian meat. You can only taste this juiciness at Hypeflix Drive-In Park and Watch on Friday, March 31. At Park and Watch, you can create your own private cinema experience in your car and enjoy all the comforts of home while still being out and about. Whether you're in the mood for some juicy pork or chicken wings with crispy yam chips, hot night watches, spicy kiliwili, stuffed spring rolls, fresh popcorn, or delicious cocktails, there's something for everyone. Just turn on your hazard light to order and get served right in your car. Now, what's airing this Friday? Well, Operation Fortune starring Jason Statham and Babylon starring Brad Pitt and Robbie Margot. And you can call 0557 587 624 now to purchase tickets or visit hypeflixdrivein.com to grab tickets online. This event is powered by Hype Up Limited with support from the Ghana Club, Abanga Foods and Farm Systems, Wachi Yere, Caution, Cocktail Bar, and Virtual Solutions. Now, Galamsey is not a good thing. Galamsey is a thorn in the flesh of Ghana, and it has destroyed many communities and individual lives. But you can mine responsibly under the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program. Respect the laws of your country. Help protect the future of your kids. This message is powered by the Ministry of Lands and Resources and the Minerals Commission of Ghana.
La Bianca has introduced the latest to its repertoire of products. Akoko Tasty, locally produced bread and slaughtered chicken, comes in gizzards, back, wings, thighs, breast, and more. For fresh quality frozen foods, contact La Bianca Company at the Fishing Harbour Road, Tema Newtown Road, opposite NIB. Call 0505 431 111 for more inquiries. La Bianca, your #1 frozen food company. Commissioner General of GRA is reminding all taxpayers, entities, and individuals, including self-employed people and partnerships, that your first quarter income tax should be paid by Friday, 31st March 2023, the last working day of the month. All outstanding taxes for this year of assessment must be settled by close of work Friday, the 31st. Failure to pay income tax on due date attracts an interest of 125% of the statutory rate compounded on the outstanding tax. Go to gra.gov.gh for more information. All right, so to put everything in proper context, I'm going to air now the question, the 2 answers, to just give it more meat, and then we'll see whether there's some controversy there or whether we are just making a storm out of a teacup. So, New York Times journalist asks a question, and then the US Vice President gives an answer. The President of Ghana also gives an answer.
Vice President, you have made clear that the message of this trip is centered on a collaborative future. At the same time, the Biden administration committed to calling out any foreign government that advanced anti-gay legislation or violates human rights. All three of the countries that you are visiting on this trip have advanced or proposed anti-gay legislation. Ghana has proposed a bill that would imprison those that engage in same-sex intercourse. Gay sex remains a crime in Tanzania, and same-sex relationships are outlawed in Zambia. What have you said to the president and plan to say to other leaders on this trip about the crackdown on human rights?
Let me be clear about where we stand. First of all, for the American press who are here, you know that a great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I will also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider, to be a human rights issue, and that will not change.
Oh, yes. What's the name?
Kano Youngs of the New York Times.
Zolan. Ms. Young, so thank you for the question. First of all, we don't have any such legislation here in Ghana. A bill has been proposed to the Parliament of Ghana, which has all kinds of ramifications, which is now being considered by the Parliament. It hasn't been passed, so the statement that there is legislation in Ghana to that effect is not accurate. No legislation. The bill is going through the Parliament. It's going through the Parliament. The Attorney General has found it necessary to speak to the committee about it regarding the constitutionality or otherwise of several of its provisions, and the Parliament is dealing with it. At the end of the process, I will come in. But in the meantime, the Parliament is dealing with it. And I have no doubt that the Parliament of Ghana will show, as it's done in the past, first of all, its sensitivity to human rights issues, as well as to the feelings of our population, and will come out with a responsible response to the proposed. The legislation was a legislation that has been provided as a private member's bill. This is not an official legislation of the government, but it is one that has been mooted by a handful of private members. So we will see what the final outcome of it. But my understanding from the recent discussion I had with the chairman of the committee, the substantial elements of the bill have already been modified as a result of the intervention of the Attorney General. We will see what the final outcome will be, and that is the stage at which I will also have the opportunity to prove it.
We need to legislate. Our friends just passed their law in Uganda. We may not go the way they have gone because our constitution is very clear as to the direction we should move. And so we'll be guided.
All right, so that was the president's answer. Now let's listen to the Speaker Bagbin's full comment. Again, I'm advised that in actual fact, Speaker Bagbin was responding to a question that was posed to him at the other event, the breakfast meeting. So we're putting everything in context. New York Times journalist asks a question, Kamala Harris responds, President Akufo-Addo responds. Speaker Bagbin is asked the question, but we don't have the question Speaker Bagbin was asked. But at least we have the answer. So we need to put this so that the context is properly established. So we don't know specifically what the person asked the speaker, which may have also contributed to the anger. But here's his answer nonetheless.
As the Vice President just did, is it yesterday? I mean, these things should not be tolerated. That is undemocratic. What is democracy? That somebody else will have to dictate to me as to what is good and what is bad? Unheard of. Because we have decided to devalue ourselves and go a-begging. Come on. We have more than enough. God has created more than enough for every person. It's just because you are looking at somebody else's share, not yours. We have enough in the world. The bill will be passed. This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution. Wait until we pass it and then we direct you to execute it. That is why you come in. That is why we are representatives of the people. So in terms of law, which is part of policy, we finalize it. And then the executive now have the authority to implement it, to execute it. Let's get this clear. Once this bill is before here, he is not in charge. I am in charge. We need to legislate. Our friends just passed their law in Uganda. We may not go the way they have gone because our constitution is very clear as to the direction we should move. And so we'll be guided by that. Because if we pass any law against the constitution, it's unconstitutional. So we have to do that. And so what are you afraid of? If you have the whole people behind you, if God is with you, who can be against you? And if God says, please, go into the wilderness, multiply and fill the world. That is God giving you that command. If somebody says, please, don't multiply, how can that person be strong? I don't only speak this way in Ghana. Even at the last meeting we attended in IPU at Bahrain, anybody who listened to my speech, there were sentences on this matter. Luckily, maybe because it's a Muslim country, they applauded me. If it's somewhere else, they will be asking questions.
So that was Speaker Babin. So let's deal with this one by one. Question was loaded originally saying that the 3 countries the woman is visiting all have proposed or have laws which criminalize LGBTQI activities, and what does she say or intend to say to the leaders? That question, in fact, the question was longer than the answer, frankly, because the answer was very short indeed. And I think our president's answer was longer and more elaborate. Before we come to Babin, what ordinarily listening to the New York Times journalist, the way he framed the question, and then Kamala Harris's answer, President Akufo-Addo's answer, what do you make of that whole episode?
First of all, I think the question, and I'm speaking from the viewpoint of a journalist now, and also given the background that a U.S. journalist would ordinarily have and what they believe in, so that he framed the question consistent with the foreign policy and domestic policy position of the Biden administration, which is that liberalize, rights to the extent that people who believe in same-sex relationships should be able to marry, should be able to have their
and enjoy the same rights
exactly without any discrimination. So then the insistence is that the Biden administration has always been calling out governments that pass legislations that seek to curtail these rights or to antagonize persons of the gay and lesbian stock.
So quick point. So if this was a Trump administration where the vice president had come, well, the journalists have asked the question the same.
The language would most probably
have been different. Because you know that Mike Pence's views on LGBTQ are possibly opposite to Kamala Harris.
Exactly.
So that there probably wouldn't have even been an issue from the US side. So this is very the Democrat specific. It's not a US foreign policy specific.
That's right.
Which is why the Joe Biden angle in the answer is very important.
Yeah, although governments make foreign policy decisions. So while the position may change, of course, in the past.
So I'm saying is this administration.
Yeah, it's this administration that is advancing it in a more robust.
Yeah, it's not like a consistent US foreign policy across the years. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So fair enough. So you're saying the journalist asked the question, knowing very well by Joe Biden's stated position, and frames it such that he's inviting a strong answer from the vice president, either in condemning those laws or sort of giving clear comments around how she and her boss would oppose those laws.
Exactly.
Good. How do you assess her answer?
I think her answer appears really clever. And I'm saying this well aware of what is normally the practice. When a foreign dignitary is visiting a country, normally there are specific things that they want highlighted. They do not want contentious issues to overshadow the good works that they are coming to do. So ordinarily, when the British, monarch is visiting Ghana, those things will be there. There will be engagement between their consular session here, and then also what do you call it, the Ghanaian people, on what could be contentious issues. So they try as much as possible to either limit or to avoid these issues entirely. So I am sure that she must have had the briefing that, look, this matter of gay and lesbian rights, these are very contentious issues. So in taking a public position, you should be minded by what is most likely to be the reportage after your public commentary on a matter like this. So her answer was terse and sort of, nuanced as to avoid the kind of hostility that should greet.
So it was very short.
Yeah.
And you also noticed the preface to the US media. So in a sense, he was speaking to her audience back home.
Exactly.
That I'm on the foreign trip and I've not denied what I've said in the US, even though I'm in a country that may be pushing a law that some of us in the US consider to be
human rights issue.
So the other thing I wanted to ask, as a journalist covering this, if Mr. Babi hadn't spoken yesterday, I don't think this would have been an issue we'll be discussing this morning. If for example, listening to all that Kamala Harris came to do 3 days, she went to Cape Coast, she gave a speech. If Mr. Babi hadn't been invited in by the question yesterday at his breakfast meeting, we probably wouldn't have been talking about this today.
Most likely. And let me prefix that with a comment. You see, if you look at the question that the New York Times reporter asked, he was specific about what the vice president would tell or has told our president about our legislation. And the legislation we are proposing is clear from those leading it in parliament. It is that we don't want those practices in Ghana. So clearly, the journalist was inviting her
to say something strong about it.
Because the bill is clear as to what its intentions are.
And you think she avoided that?
Yes, clearly.
She avoided that.
And
you're saying it's possible because of the briefing she's gotten. So that's an interesting angle. So that's why I'm a bit confused by Bagbe's public comments. Because knowing all I know about this issue and knowing how some Western leaders put their foot in their mouth and say things they ought not. I thought Vice President Harris's answer was very, as you said, very professional. So I couldn't understand Mr. Babin's anger in terms of saying that it's undemocratic. So I'm saying, is he limiting his description of undemocratic to the answer the Vice President gave, or to some other things they are doing? Which you get my angle, because there's nothing in the answer that seems undemocratic to me.
Okay, so
Did you get me?
Let me just say that the context of everything would have to be put together.
Okay.
It is not. It is. We cannot deny the fact that this is the U.S. position, and other Western interests in the country have advanced.
Hold on. Let me correct something.
It's the Biden administration.
It's the Biden administration's position on the matters. Hold on.
Yes, go on.
Because even within the U.S.,
there's a lot of division.
There's a lot of division. As just March, Florida passed a bill, a very contentious one that has been passed. That limits a lot of things.
No, I made that point to him that there's a difference. He even admitted that if it was a different administration, so it's a U.S. foreign policy position advanced by the present administration. So just make progress.
I don't think it's clear.
Yes.
You see, foreign policy decisions are made by the leaders of a country.
Yes. So once that's the administration, that's their policy. So you are at liberty to use it.
I'm at liberty to use it. So
go ahead.
That clarity is there.
All right.
And we also know of what some other consular sections, embassies in Ghana have said in the past when some people were arrested in connection with this. And then also there have been discussions on the corridors of power as to what the legislation proposed by these MPs in Parliament is doing to frustrate inflows, aid inflows to our country. Because the suggestion is that because of this hardline position we seek to take with this proposed legislation, some people are frustrating what ordinarily would have been aids that would have come Ghana's way if we were not, taking this hardline position.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that we should be mindful of the entirety of the context, because Honorable Bagbe being in an elevated position, a privileged position, must be aware ordinarily of all of these issues driving the discussion. That is why in his response, you heard him talk about we are in a situation which is as a result of our own making. And now we are going to beg. So there is a connection between the view that we should not advance anti-gay legislation and the receipt of foreign aid or assistance,
including the 100 million that 4 people are sharing. 4 countries are sharing.
That's for Islamist insurgency and all of that. So if you understand that context, then you might be tempted to cut Honorable Bagbin some slack and say that okay, he is not just taking, because if
you are saying he's not speaking in relation to the woman's answer alone,
public comment
but
alone.
He's talking about the overall context of. But I'm saying that in the issues that Kamala Harris has advanced since her coming, security, what else? Girls empowerment, youth, something, Cape Coast things. Like if you look at all the carefully curated things that they have said, she has said. Yeah. In fact, I think they probably wish that this question hadn't even been asked. Because there's nothing in her public statements that have even suggested she wanted to even comment about this. So your point is that the speaker obviously knows more than we know.
He is letting us,
and that the answer, his comment was in relation to much more than the question and the answer.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, if that's what you're saying, then I'll grant you that. Because honestly speaking, I listened to this multiple times. I didn't see the level, I didn't think it was proportionate use of force. in terms of, what I mean by proportionate use of force, like this is the question, this is the answer, this is your reaction. Now let's deal with Babin's commentary on the president of Ghana. I think he says the president has nothing to be afraid of, and that the president should not sort of think that he can interfere with the process. What is he trying to say? But did the president's answer suggest anything like that?
Okay, so I think the president, in dealing with the matter, sort of said certain things that may have created the impression as though the Attorney General intervened to modify the legislation. And in dealing with this matter, Bernard, just grant me a few minutes to just highlight specific provisions in our constitution to help our listeners.
Okay.
Now, if you look at Article 1 of the Constitution, it makes our constitution the supreme law of Ghana. And any inconsistency with this document, the constitution, shall be void, according to Article 1 of the Constitution, 1.1. And then if you go to Article 11, it details the laws of our country and mentions the Constitution of the Republic as one of them.
Yeah.
And then goes on to list statutes and then also customary law. So customary law basically are those practices that have been accepted over time as things that can be done or cannot be done in Ghana. So in many cases, they are not necessarily written down, but practices over time have crystallized them into acceptable ways of doing things in our country. Then if you go to Article 2, it grants the Supreme Court the power to strike down a legislation or a law that it holds inconsistent with the Constitution. And as I told you much earlier, Article 1 of the Constitution tells us that the Constitution of the Republic is the supreme law of the country.
A key issue will be whatever law you pass must align with the Constitution.
Exactly.
And if there's a misalignment, Supreme Court will decide.
Yeah.
So it's even possible that if this law is passed, somebody could take the whole law to the Supreme Court and say, if you take the Constitution, this law violates it.
Yes.
So the ultimate test of the legality of a law is the Constitution.
Yeah,
and the Supreme Court to interpret that. Now, Godfrey, if you can read what the president said, because I think that the text of what the man says is also important.
The bill is going through Parliament. The Attorney General is doing its part regarding the constitutionality or otherwise of its provisions, and Parliament is dealing with it. At the end of the process, I will come in, but in the meantime, Parliament is dealing with it. And I know that the Parliament of Ghana will show us when it's done and it's passed. First of all, it's a sensitive human rights issue, as well as the feelings of our population.
You see how he's balanced?
And we'll come up with a responsible response to the proposal.
That's not all he said.
He added a second paragraph.
Because
so far, I think, let's take it block by block. So far, so good, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He say it's the Parliament is dealing with it, sensitive issue, human rights.
Let me pluck out one issue. First of all, the Attorney General doesn't determine the legality, the constitutionality, or otherwise of a legislation or proposal. He comments on it. He expresses views as to the possible constitutionality or otherwise of it.
Pascal, if you listen to the full import, the president spoke about its alignment with the Constitution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, don't forget, it's not a written answer.
No, I understand. What I'm saying is that, because even law students are listening.
Yes.
as a matter of law,
yeah,
the Attorney General does not determine the constitutionality or otherwise of a legislation or proposed legislation.
But don't you think that being the government's principal legal advisor, I think the context of President saying that the Attorney General is looking at its alignment with the Constitution.
So that's
not so the word is not, the key word is not determination. He's seen how aligned.
Yeah. So you see,
but Godfrey, read it again. Read it again.
Because I want us to isolate that.
The president.
Because the danger is to assume that.
So let me even give the
read the full thing the president
from
said.
Daily Graphic. Okay. First of all, we don't have any such legislation in Ghana.
Good.
A bill has been proposed to the Parliament of Ghana, which has all kinds of ramifications, which is not being considered by the Parliament.
Correct.
It hasn't been passed. So the statement that there is legislation in Ghana to that effect is not accurate.
Correct.
The bill is going through the Parliament. The Attorney General has found it necessary to speak to the committee about it regarding the constitutionality or otherwise of several of its provisions. And Parliament is dealing with it. At the end of the process, I will come in.
So far, so good.
I have no doubt that the Parliament of Ghana will ensure, as it has done in the past, first of all, its sensitivity to human rights issues, as well as to the feelings of our population.
Correct.
We will come out with a responsible response at the end of the proposed legislation. It's a private member's bill. It's not an official legislation of the government.
Also
but
correct.
It is one that has been mooted by a handful of private members. So we will see what the final outcome of it is. But my understanding from a recent discussion I had with the chairman of the committee is that the substantial elements of the bill have already been modified as a result of the intervention of the Attorney General.
This is the problem.
We will see what the final outcome will be.
So I think that part is where the speaker then uses. Because so far, everything the man has said is correct.
You see, so that's why I isolated, first of all, constitutionality or otherwise. And I issued the caveat that it is not a job of the Attorney General. What he does is to make a comment on what the courts are likely to do if this matter were to travel to the Supreme Court. Because the authority vested in the Constitution is clear that that is the reserve of the Supreme Court of the land.
Let me ask you a question. Let's assume this law is passed and the president assents and somebody says the law is unconstitutional and the person goes to the Supreme Court. Who will be the respondent?
Any person who is a citizen of the Republic under Article 2 of the Constitution can go to the Supreme Court.
You don't. Listen to my question.
Okay.
Let's assume Mr. Kofi has sent this matter to the Supreme Court, saying that this law, as has been passed, is unconstitutional. I'm saying who will be the respondent?
The Attorney General. The Attorney General. But you see,
I'm asking a leading question. So my point is that then you can understand where the president is coming from. Once a law is being passed by Parliament and the president assents, the president's principal legal advisor is the Attorney General. Because if the law is deemed unconstitutional and it has to be defended, he will go. So his comments now are to make sure that from the perspective of the government's advisor, the law does not violate the Constitution. So you see, let's take it in context that the Attorney General will be the one to go and defend this law if the law is put on the Supreme Court.
That's true.
So he has a role to play in saying, based on my initial reading of the law, I don't see any problem.
Hold on.
That's why I'm...
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you see, the Attorney General's views are not the law. It just grab me some time. The law is as stated by the judges. So the Attorney General, like a lawyer, an ordinary lawyer, will be telling you, the client, that look, my view on this matter is this. And that when you go to court, the courts are likely to resolve this matter against you or in your favor.
So he's advising you.
Exactly.
So the Attorney General's engagement with the committee, you are saying it's advisory.
Exactly.
It's not directive.
Yeah, it is not to say that this
I will change it.
Good.
Which is fine because we have the memorandum. The Attorney General's 18-page memorandum to the committee is very clear. You understand? So I think that's why you're saying we are talking about context and we are trying to help listeners that it's a manner of speaking. I personally think that the US Vice President, based on what I know her position is, her answer was very good. I think our President's answer was also very good in terms of all the issues he's dealing with. In terms of, look, you are in an economic situation where you obviously need the endorsement of the US. And the US has stridently said they will help you get this deal, among other things. You know that this administration, a strong constituency of this administration is the LGBTQ community. And you know the pressure that they are facing. And the US Vice President comes in and gives an answer which I consider to be quite innocuous in terms of, she could have said something more controversial. She did not. And the president also is trying to manage that.
Yeah.
In addition to all the things they have to do. So which is why I'm saying that I think we need to go back to Bagwin to sort of, where is it coming from with the explosive
response?
Yeah, I don't understand, because this will probably have passed quietly unless he's trying to instigate the committee to do the work faster, or he's trying to say that, guys, there's something going on that I need to blow alarm.
You see,
that the people are speaking peace, but they are doing things. Unless that.
That's what I'm saying. That let us not ignore the general context. And then also, if you go back to the original question, the journalist was very clever as to state that, first of all, what have you told him? Or what do you intend to tell him? Those will not be stated publicly. Those are matters that are reserved for the closed door meetings.
But why would the journalist says, what have you told him? And what do you intend to tell him?
And I'm saying,
and the woman said what she intends to tell him. That is a human rights issue.
No, you see, that's why the woman was nuanced as to how she handled the matter.
Okay.
She didn't say that I will tell him that it's a human rights issue.
Okay, she just stated her position.
Profiled herself
quickly and shortly.
Exactly, to say that, look, this has been my position all my life.
I get you.
And that will not change.
I get you.
You understand? Now the question is, what was the discussion between the vice president of the US and our president behind closed doors?
How will we know?
So you see, that's why I'm saying that, you know, Honorable Bagbing, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, is sort of in an elevated position.
So we should grant him.
Yeah, that's how he may or may not be aware of what may or may not have happened in those discussions.
I get you.
And then the general context is also that we have always heard that for some reason inflows have been frustrated because of the hardline position we propose to take. And so we should not ignore all of that in our
The other point I wanted to raise quickly was, you typically when presidents visit, they will address Parliament. I think President Obama was in Parliament. I don't know the full itinerary, but I didn't see an engagement with Parliament for Vice President Kamala Harris.
She's a vice president.
I don't know. I'm asking whether it's because she's a vice president or whether they feel that the leadership of Parliament's position on some matters may not align.
That's a fair assumption.
Because you see, when she came, and we saw this live, she went to they had a guard of honor, Flagstaff House, the president then introduced her to everybody, vice president, chief of staff, and a whole raft of ministers. And then she spent like 2 minutes or like a minute each talking. Like it was an executive thing. And then I didn't see, and typically when a leader comes to a country, sometimes they see Parliament. But I didn't see even the minority leader there or the majority leader in that meeting. So I'm not sure if it was deliberate or it's because it was just an executive visit. But it's possible that maybe they feel that the way Parliament is now and the mood of Parliament, it may not be good PR for the vice president to go there. But I'm saying, let's put all of this together and say, so what? What does all this mean for us? Is it a question of the Ghanaian public being forced to reverse on something it wants? In fact, do we even know whether this is actually the general sentiment of all Ghanaians? Because and I think the president's point was that, look, most Ghanaians would want this law. I think that's what he's trying to say. That possibly the only thing they can do is to say it has to be constitutional. But he made mention of the sentiment of Ghanaians. And then Samuel George in an interview with Sanda also said, if the president does not assent to the bill, Parliament will go back and vote on it after 6 months, and he's sure that they will get 2/3. How is he so sure that Parliament will get 2/3?
I don't know about 6 months.
He said something to that effect. I don't have time to go through all. But he said that
that's within the spirit of Article 106,
he's saying that assuming that the president doesn't sign it and it comes back to Parliament, he is 100% sure that even MPs on the MPP side will vote for the thing.
It's Article 106.
Can I come in? I'm waiting.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. That clause 8. For those who are interested.
Yes.
Where the president refuses to assent to a bill, he shall, within 14 days after the refusal, state in a memorandum to the Speaker any specific provisions of the bill which, in his opinion, should be reconsidered by Parliament, including his recommendations for amendments, if any, or B, inform the Speaker that he has referred the bill to the Council of State for consideration and comment under Article 90 of this Constitution. And 9 says that Parliament shall reconsider a bill taking into account the comments made by the President or the Council of State, as the case may be, under Clause 8 of
Let me
article.
ask you a simple question. Do you see this Parliament passing this bill within the lifetime of this particular Parliament?
Most likely.
You think they will pass it?
Most likely.
Do you think can the president delay the bill if he feels it will give him bad PR globally by just doing delay tactics.
So you see, that is where Article 106 kicks in. When the bill is passed, it is sent to the president. He should either sign it into law or he will make comments on it and return it to the House or refer it to the Council of State, as the case may be. Now, when Parliament reconsiders it and where they vote with a 2/3 majority that we want this bill, the bill goes back to the president. He's expected to sign it. Now, the language of the Constitution is fairly vague. It is not clear whether the president would at that point be under compulsion of the Constitution to sign it. And what happens if he refuses to sign it? It will become a constitutional matter. If he says he will not sign it, somebody will go to the courts and say that we want to enforce or compel the president to sign it. And we'll see what the Supreme Court will say about it.
Do you see the president breaking rank with his party because I get the sense that a lot of MPs support this bill.
Yeah.
And that they want, and you are saying they will push it through. If it gets to that point, you think they can? I mean, because we've seen people say they wanted the president to move the finance minister, he didn't move. So the president is quite strong when he wants to, and I'm not able to decipher. For once, I'm not able to decipher his view on this bill. I'm not sure where he stands. He's very wise in the way he's sort of managing all the controversies. Like he's not trying to give anything away. So I don't know. And if he says he's not going to sign it, assuming he thinks that the bill in this current form is not good enough, I don't think his MPs can railroad him into signing.
No, you see, that's where the Constitution kicks in.
Because Addo is a strong guy.
No, you see, where the president says that he will not sign, the Parliament would then have to take a vote, considering what the president...
No, I'm not inviting a legal comment. I'm not inviting politics. I'm saying that knowing the man Akufo-Addo...
And then we'll go to the Supreme Court.
Knowing the way... And I'm not saying he will not sign. I'm just using the point made by Samuel George in yesterday's interview that he feels that if the president even wants to frustrate it, the MPs of MPP will agree with the bill. Akufo-Addo, the little I've seen about him, he doesn't bend though.
Yeah, he's not.
I'm not saying he is against the bill, but what I gather from this is that he is basically saying, if my Attorney General gives the clean bill of health, and I'm satisfied that it's constitutional, and that I'll sign it. Do you get me? Because he believes that this is what the Ghanaian people want. So the only thing he would do is, if it's not constitutional, he will advise them to address the unconstitutional part. But I don't see him saying he will not sign it.
You see, so that's why I'm saying that all of that cannot be resolved by the president. It cannot be resolved by Parliament. It cannot be resolved by the Attorney General.
But can it be resolved in this Parliament's lifetime?
Yes.
Because we have how many months? We have
about 18 months or so.
They can do it?
Yeah.
Don't forget, Joe Wise said this is the Parliament with the least number of laws passed, because the closed nature of this Parliament, in fact, he said only 10 major bills had been passed because they couldn't cooperate.
Yeah, but on this one, because of the nature of it, if you are seen to be opposing it, Ghanaians will most likely punish you at the polls.
I seem to opposing it based on what?
So you think that, Governor, you think that on this one, NDC and MPP will together pass this law?
Yeah, obviously, because of the way it's been framed. There isn't a lot of common sense being applied to this. Let me be honest with you.
In your view, they are being railroaded.
Yes, it's because you will be portrayed as being a social deviant. So if you nothing you say will justify your reason not to assent to it, the way it has been framed.
So you don't see Parliament. So you think 2/3? They'll get more than 2/3.
Quite likely, but my worry
that only comes in
if
the president refuses.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just saying.
My worry comes in from the speaker's one. I did not like his tone. Okay, I did not like his tone. He needs to tone back a bit. He needs to understand who he is, the position he holds. Okay, there have been several occasions where I think he has overstepped the boundaries of what he can say, what he cannot say. I think that he's doing an amazing job as speaker. I think he's very proactive. His experience has shown in a lot of the way he has handled things. But I also think he needs guidance on his public disposition and his public utterances. Because sometimes he ends up portraying himself as if he's actually the man who runs the country. He does not. He's a referee in Parliament.
Even in Parliament, eh?
Yes, he's a referee in Parliament. Now, to sit there as the referee and say conclusively that this will pass, it is not his place to say. Leave that to the minority leader and the majority leader to say. As speaker, you cannot sit there and say a certain law will pass. Because if we start to analyze what that means, in law.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that will come out of it. What do you know? What have you said? Okay. Of course, the house is a house of consensus. So maybe you might have intimate knowledge of the consensus that has been built on this.
That you don't see anything against it.
But it's not. But the way that you say it. Then the second part, which I have issues is, you see, there are certain positions that do not allow you to publicly declare your face and where you stand. And a lot of our public officials struggle with it. Last I checked, this country was secular. He knows the constitution better than I do. I mean, he's a long-time lawyer. He's been in parliament for a very long time. So even though you are talking to a gathering of religious leaders, once you start making that connection and saying, so far as I am here and my belief in this, and you start making certain references. This is the problem we have with the finance minister, for instance, where nobody has challenged his faith as a Christian, but where he has mixed his faith with how he runs the country. And in delivering his thoughts on how the country should be run, ends up using biblical anecdotes to push his agenda and annoys people. Hold on.
But what is wrong with that?
Because it is his personal. You see, there's a different.
But they say our constitution. Does the constitution debar him from expressing his faith in the way he does?
No, but there are certain functions there are certain seats that when you occupy, you stay within the lane of the function. Because if you start bringing
is that by law or by convention?
No,
because because the constitution. My point is that the constitution. Sorry to cut the constitution. It gives people the right to religion.
Yes.
And does not debar them from expressing it.
But you do that, you might end up with a theocracy then.
Yeah, but no. Hold on.
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear. The basis for law is constitution.
Yes.
But I'm saying that if you are, for example, if I'm supposed to give a speech and I premise it with the Bible, what prevents me from doing that?
No. But you see,
so why can I quote Chaucer, but I cannot quote Matthew?
No, you can quote Matthew, but here is
that not what the finance minister does?
No, that's not what he does. If you look at the quotations, they are linked with the decision that is being made.
No,
it's a justification for the decision that has been made.
No, in relation to the finance minister and statements he makes.
It is.
No, Godfrey, if somebody, I'm saying that you can quote
the last budget.
You can quote A Tale of Two Cities in the premise and say we are in a mixed situation. Where
the last budget that he read, because we all listened to him.
Yes.
We can outline the quotes that were made and the sections of the speech that the quotes were made and what they were being used to justify.
I'm saying, how does quoting a scripture then mean that you are trying to run a theocracy?
No, I'm not saying that we are trying to run a theocracy. I'm saying that the larger point I'm making is that we must get to the point where people who occupy certain positions understand that my personal beliefs, I'm a Christian.
Yes.
It does not mean that everything that I do, depending on the position that I'm in, is run by my personal beliefs as a Christian.
Yeah, but you can also
certain
express your
governmental
convictions.
functions.
No, see, go for see. For me,
but the conviction.
Let me just.
That is where the problem is.
Is it unconstitutional to express your faith in public discourse about what you believe?
No, but when you're a decision maker, okay, in what is considered a democracy, you understand, those things must be nuanced.
I think let me come.
Those things must be nuanced.
I think we should isolate doctrinal issues from issues of motivation, conviction, and faith. Quoting a scripture is to reinforce the underpinning conviction that you are made up of, which is your faith.
Personally.
This is amazing.
It's to reinforce. It's not to pass on a way of life or a way of doing things to anybody. I believe in what the scripture says, me, based on which I derive my motivation to do what I'm doing. That's it.
That's how I
and leave it there. Which is the way governance is supposed to be.
I just want to guide all of us. You see, if you look at the preamble of the Constitution, it opens by saying, "In the name of the Almighty God, we the people of Ghana." Now interpret "in the name of the Almighty God," whichever way you want.
You see my point. So I'm saying that the Constitution,
the same thing you've read, is actually doctrinalized.
Yes, and
and that's what we don't want.
Yes, but I'm saying that
the expression of faith for motivational purpose and conviction, I think it's okay.
Maybe.
But that's what I mean. But I'm saying we are treading the very thin line of where sometimes
we could be abused.
We are starting to see certain elements of it.
My point that is like, see, when you say the Constitution, when you say I said,
let's not digress.
Not to be argumentative. I'm saying
I don't even want to digress.
When you say that the Constitution is secular, and therefore expression of faith, you appear to suggest that is frowned upon, which is why what Sky read is key. And I'm saying that so long as you are not using it in the way Samen says, you are not using it to try to now doctrinalize. Do you understand? So, and you are right. It's a thin line.
Do me a favor.
It's a thin line.
Hold on. Do me a favor.
Yes.
Play Backbone right now.
Oh, I've played like 10 times.
No, don't worry. Play him.
No, which part?
The whole thing. It's
just 2 minutes. Play it.
Okay, play it again.
Play Backbone.
Just 2 minutes.
The vice president just did. Is it yesterday? I mean, these things should not be tolerated. That is undemocratic. What is democracy? That somebody else will have to dictate to me as to what is good and what is bad? Unheard of. Because we have decided to devalue ourselves and go a-begging. Come on. We have more than enough. God has created more than enough for every person. It's just because we are looking at somebody else's share, not yours. We have enough in the world. The bill will be passed. This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution. Wait until we pass it and then we direct you to execute it. That is why you come in. That is why we are representatives of the people. So in terms of law, which is part of policy, we finalize it. And then the executive now have the authority to implement it, to execute it. Let's get this clear. Once this bill is before here, he is not in charge. I am in charge. Yeah. We need to legislate. Our friends just passed their law in Uganda. We may not go the way they have gone because our constitution is very clear as to the direction we should move. And so we'll be guided by that. Because if we pass any law against the constitution, it's unconstitutional. So we have to do that. And so what are you afraid of? If you have the whole people behind you, if God is with you, who can be against you? And if God says, please, go into the wilderness, multiply and fill the world. That is God giving you that command. If somebody says, please, don't multiply, how can that person be strong? I don't only speak this way in Ghana. Even at the last meeting we attended in IPU at Bahrain, anybody who listened to my speech, there were sentences on this matter. Luckily, maybe because it's a Muslim country, they applauded me. If it's somewhere else, they will be asking questions.
All right. So we've had the full statement, and you wanted to be played for a reason. So can you explain?
You heard him?
Yeah. I mean, he said.
You know why I played it?
Yeah, you said but the Bible didn't say you should go to the wilderness.
So he misquoted the Bible.
No, I don't know what he was quoting.
I don't know what he was quoting.
No, because
the wilderness.
I don't know what he was quoting. I don't know what because you don't know what he was quoting. Yeah, because
is the wilderness for me.
You know, you see. When I was in Presec, wilderness is a place you go to do.
You mean Wildy?
So the wilderness is talking.
You spruce up your Christian upbringing and background, and you misquote the Bible.
No, I didn't.
I won't talk again.
No. I think started when we allowed the white man to take away polygamy.
Yeah.
So they woke up one day and thought that they can tell us how to live our life anyhow. I mean, for me,
it's not easy.
Citi people, they've been with us everywhere we've been. The Citi people have been with us since secondary school. Nobody is killing them. Nobody is beating them. So I don't get the whole thing. So Citi people have been with us. We shall forever have them in our midst. We have some in our families, and nobody has killed them. And
you don't know where
I come for. So, Citi people, please feel free. Why? feel free. Where's Brother Moses?
let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Sky should meet his man small and tell him, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I think the point you made about his leadership in terms of
he's very good.
He's good, but
very good.
Sky, and I think that you have to admit that. For example, he did something I think is fantastic. He changed the attire of the Speaker of Parliament.
Yeah.
He says there's nothing in the law that says I should dress like a British monk. I'll wear clothing. He's normalized it. Wonderful guy. He's a reformer. I listen to him and he talks about the constitution, constitutionality, one of the best. Yeah. We are very lucky to have him even in Parliament. I think, Godfrey, you also need to grant him some things because because he's been in Parliament for this long, he seems to bring not just the position of Speaker, but who he is. Yeah. So when he's presiding, it's like because of who. It's like when somebody teaches you in school, and then you are standing before the person in court. Now, because the person taught you, you lawyers, you do this very well. You say, if it wasn't that you taught me, Anka. You see, I remember this guy, the NDC MP for Saudai. He was saying that the way the Akufo-Addo government is putting Supreme Court judges is a lot, but this guy taught me. So I'm restraining what I can say. Now, because Bagwin is senior to most people in Parliament, he says a lot of things and takes positions because of who he is. Yeah. And we have to grant him that. Yeah. That's the same way Peter Lajete was.
But his longevity is also underpinned by knowledge, experience,
very much so,
and relationship.
Good. Yeah.
And that's Bagwin.
But see, the problem he's pointing out is that sometimes he goes overboard.
I think is that a reflection of his personality. Not take it or leave it.
It's uncompromising. He cannot be intimidated. Even as a minority leader, he cannot be intimidated.
And I think, like you rightly said, we are lucky to have Bagwin manage this parliament at this time.
Oh yes, exactly. Anybody else would have backed Charlie. So should we grant him? I'm coming. Should we grant him that?
Order.
No, he said order. Charlie.
Order.
Yeah, that was. Charlie. I don't want to mention names. He said order.
Order. He said keep quiet.
So can we grant him that?
You see, that's why in my initial comments I said that we should take everything into context. Because there are things that he knows are happening behind the scenes so forcefully that you and I may or may not know. And he tries to communicate as much as possible the position in a very forceful way.
But some of those could be speculations as well. Some of them could be.
Most likely.
Which is why I am just calling for the guidance for him.
You are saying that he should be a little bit.
I've heard him. Yes,
but I thought certain rules. Gerhard was in his office.
Yeah, Gerhard
was his PR consultant.
Yeah, that is in.
But that's PR consultant.
This is what he's talking about. No, he's talking about. You see, if in Parliament he can say.
I don't think that there's been a PR failure in this.
Okay. No. There hasn't been a PR gaffe. Okay, it's just him understanding the evolution of who he has been over the years and the position he holds now.
But one thing I can promise you is that he won't change.
But he needs to. You see, because
at this age,
he won't do anything.
Let me tell you something, Samens. You've done this.
He will tell you that he won't change.
Samens, you've done this for a very long time. But you see, the reason why sometimes you manage people like this is we might say it is the way he is, he's the way he is, until one day you say something that gets you into extreme trouble.
Or gets all of us into
trouble. Or gets everybody
all of us into trouble.
Generally speaking,
yes. No, I'm just saying, but the import of the trouble is different depending on who's saying
let me buttress that in a sense. So, for example, the president, before he will make comments like this within this context, his team would have prepared briefs. They plan and they know the message they want to take. Yeah. The question is, does Parliament as an organization
have a similar
Yes, thing? Because Parliament now has a legal office. So before a president or a minister will make a statement before a diplomat, there are messages that have to be sent out. Now, it appears as though the speaker, because of his experience and he sort of knows what he wants to say. Mm-hmm. So you cannot write a speech for him unless it's a very formal occasion. So maybe he's meeting Christian leaders and they're having breakfast. He can make off-the-cuff comments. Now, maybe his team should know that whatever a speaker says, even when it's at a private party,
For the
once the
records.
media is there, you see, so because that's why usually when you invite a minister to a program, they'll always say, give me the background for this program before we write a speech, because as soon as he says it publicly and we pick it up in the media, it's his position. Do you get me? So maybe there needs to be a strong, like for example, I don't know, Agredakon or something. Some of the guys around the office of the speaker should then be able to say, okay, for certain even private or quasi functions, we have to find a way of getting speeches put across, because he can. I won't say boom. He's not the boom type, but he's.
You see. I think. You see, Samen said something very important. We should know the person, and as someone who's studied Bagwin all these years, this is the man. You cannot intimidate him, and the way he will tell you in private is the same way he will go and say it. Okay. And if my experience in speech writing is anything to go by, you reflect what the person is. Okay. You don't go and put yourself in.
Otherwise, you throw the speech away.
Exactly, because you have what he wants to say. You have to sort of moderate it in a language that reflects him. Do you understand?
But you
cannot change his views on.
So even if he employed you as a speechwriter, you are saying you can't do the job.
Yeah, that's right. So you tell him that, oh, Mr. Speaker, okay, this one we can modify it in a way.
What do you think?
As to lessen the potential fallout. He would reflect on it and say, no, this is the language I want to use.
So you cancel it and use his pen to write his own thing.
Exactly. It is as simple as that. So if you know him, I mean, throughout his years as a minority leader, a majority leader, he's had even problems with John Dramani Mahama, the president of the Republic, and said it freely. So, so let us not pretend as though we do not know the man. Okay. That is him. Okay. And he's not going to change merely because we think that he now...
So, had he been president, I think there's a question that I think people should ask. So, you see how the president spoke and how he spoke. So, had he been president and Kamala Harris had come, the people around him wouldn't have allowed him to say it this way.
Oh, yes, obviously.
They wouldn't.
Obviously.
They wouldn't. Because
the platform is different.
Because even Rawlings,
of Parliament.
Sky, if you notice, even Rawlings' people, why do you think they say he went to do the script?
Let me give you
Rawlings' people had always been trying to restrain him to rise on speech, and then now we just...
But if you're president,
they are telling me I shouldn't talk. They are telling me I shouldn't talk, but I'm going to throw it. I'll throw it away, then you throw it away.
Yeah, but you see, let us not forget that in Kenya, when this matter came up for discussion, Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of the Republic at the time, Barack Obama, the president, was there on the days with him. Yeah. And he took a robust position which reflected, in his view, the position of the Kenyans. And which was a spite or slap in the face of the American position. Yeah. So let us not say that merely because you are president, your position should not reflect the thinking of the people merely because or on the basis of...
That's not what our situation is it?
No.
But you see, if you're a president, you're a president whose country is in debt, you have to be careful. You have to be
Very nice Bagwin's matter.
What's a careful Didi? But when you
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Some children have two parents who do all that they can to make life comfortable. Some children have only one parent who toils to provide food, clothing, and shelter. And some children have no parents at all because mommy and daddy died in a car crash or drowned in the floods, or cancer, a heart attack, or AIDS took them away, or mommy and daddy simply abandoned them. Some children are orphans. Your neighbor, schoolmate, work colleague, church member, brother in Islam, your doctor, or your favorite wache seller may well be an orphan. Orphans are Ghanaians too, and we must do all that we can to ensure that they grow up to become responsible and prosperous citizens. This Easter, why don't we give meaning to the season? On Easter Monday, 10th April 2023, join 97.3 Citi FM and Citi TV on the Easter Orphan Project as we spend time with over 500 orphans in the Baptist School Complex and Orphanage at Chorto near Suhum, the King Jesus Charity Home in Kumasi, Pharmacy and the Tamale Children's Home in Nyoni, Tamale. Your donations will help to make life a little better for some orphans across the length and breadth of Ghana. Please donate in cash and in kind. Items such as books, rice, gari, maize, sugar, milk, drinks, hand washing soap, washing powder, toiletries, disinfectant, etc. are welcome. Send your donations to the front desk of Citi FM behind the Adabaka police station, or send your cash donations via mobile money to 050-673-7012 or call 0302-226-013 for further information. This Easter, let's make some sacrifices. Let's be compassionate and let's make an orphan feel loved.
He won't let you down.
Enjoy the best of convenience and security on AT Money. Carry out all your mobile money related transactions on the go. Send or receive cash, pay bills, move cash in and out of your bank account from anywhere at any time. Airtel Tigo Money, your most secured and trusted mobile money service.
Hey, nowadays, germs are in the air. Aren't you concerned? Concerned about what? About the children, of course. In times like this, they sneeze, cough, and fall ill just like that. This is why we need to give our children and ourselves a fighting chance with the maximum protection of Dettol soap. Dettol soap not only refreshes you, but it can be used for bathing and washing hands. So keep calm. Get Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Dettol is endorsed by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
This advert is FDA approved.
At the British Council, we know that our experiences in life are what shape us. The things we see, the places we go, the people we meet all make an impact on the future we create. Change is driven by people with dreams bigger than themselves. The chance to study abroad is the chance to make an impact, not just on your own life, but on the lives of the people you left back home. When you experience the world beyond borders, you can discover what's possible for the future you envision. When you set off to further your education abroad, you can return empowered and ready to put your plan for change in motion. Great experiences await when you study in diverse countries like the UK. You can make an impact on your entire community because you took the chance to own your future. It starts with an IELTS test from the British Council. Visit our website today and discover a world of opportunity.
Addo, Grandma looked very peaceful. I was completely amazed when I saw her neatly presented. She looked just like she was sleeping.
You haven't seen anything yet, my brother. You should have seen the care and quality treatment they gave her at transitions. One man, one room, just like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And not only that, we had a dedicated person to guide the family through the funeral planning process.
Are you sure?
Of course. From picking her up to when we lowered Grandma down, everything was completely stress-free. They had all the needed funeral services, caskets, hearse, chapel, and so much more.
This one, dear, no family fights after all.
I'm so happy we made the right decision to use transitions.
With transitions, your loved one gets the best of care while the family enjoys a stress-free funeral planning process. Call us now on 0302-634-706. And no, did I tell you they're affordable? Transitions, the funeral people.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
gramo. Mekata wawarama. Onarasi wawarama. Sana besaniye. Nati. Sana besaniye. Nati. Munya no gram. Munya no gramo. Mekata wawarama.
A few quick comments on this and we move on. Bernard, Mr. Speaker spoke very well. He spoke nothing but the mind of all Ghanaians. Other presidents have spoken the position of their people in the face of diplomacy. So what are they talking about? All right. Bernard, I agree with some men about the fact that the TT people have been with us for a long time. However, recent attempts to indoctrinate, especially children, into normalizing this kind of behavior is the reason why this bill is important. And if you look at what is happening in the West, we should be worried. Even pronouns are being changed to include all sorts of absurdities because of this LGBTQI plus thing. Good morning, Bernard. With this answer from Babin, I would suggest we look out for the question he was asked, because that would make it clearer. Pakofi, I agree with you. I did make that point that because I didn't have the question, I don't know. Good morning, friends. Are we serious as a country? Why should we accept some people's culture among ourselves? I support the view of the Speaker of Parliament. Good morning, CBS. This Speaker's response, is the President not supposed to assent to any bill passed? Just ask, I don't get it unless there's more. Nanama from Wager. Bernard, you are not setting the record straight. The Speaker was actually responding to a question that was posed to him by the clergy. Thank you. Anthony, I think I made that point later during the show. Listen to what the President and the Vice President of the US said. I don't see why the Speaker was making noise like that. Favor from Anya. Good morning, team. Please, what did the President say wrong? He said when Parliament is done with it in Parliament, it will come to him. Is the Speaker going to sign the bill into law? The President will. It is his job. So what's the problem? Charlie, that's the matter. But the President said the bill is in Parliament isn't an official position of his government and that only a handful of private MPs mooted the agenda. Was that necessary? It's a statement of fact. It was not. It was only. It was only to please Kamala and the West that his government opens its arms to LGBTQ. But I think see, the point is that Samen's argument, which I think we have to, is basically is that look, he's balancing many things. All right. So, and I think this is why Speaker Babin said, it's because you need something.
Exactly.
You see, because, and to be fair, the president has been more forthright. I remember in 2017, 2018. The French president was here for some program and he was trying to pontificate on slavery. And the president's answer in terms of the historical correction of what the guy was trying to say and closing the issue and saying, let's go and eat, stop it. It was just brilliant. So the president is able to, when he wants, be more like... But I think the point we need to understand is that Ghana is not in a good place. Yeah. All right, and you've needed repeated reassurances from the US and Kamala Harris also spoke about that. You need that IMF thing. So he's
and in this diplomatic business, you do a lot of juggling and dancing,
but if you are
and a lot of times.
If you are if you want another, you are expecting another to fail in doing something. This one is not one of the places it's going to fail.
In terms of this type of
no. I mean, this is diplomacy, history, world history. No. So I think so far so good. It's just we are all curious about how it's going to the outcome eventually.
But the IMF money, it really like is getting difficult because the March deadline will not get.
Yes.
So and again, I pointed out this morning that two key stories. So Information Minister was on Citi News yesterday, speaking to Niayi about the need for the minority to support this bill, and then the BOG
governor, yes,
actually says this is a condition, or what's the expression they use? It's a prior action. So they're actually raising the stakes, and it backs our conversation yesterday. What the government is saying is that if these three taxes are not passed, we will not get the IMF deal, and they are now trying to say to the minority that they should temper justice with mercy. Because if they add, because again, the context is that this approval has annoyed the NDC. because they feel their members have betrayed them. But the government is trying to say that if you look at this tax like that, we'll all be in trouble.
Yeah. And just a quick one from me. You know, I sent you something this morning to read. I think
Zambian
everybody who can read should find the Zambia President Hachileme's op-ed in the Washington Post this morning and read it. Because for me as a journalist, the insight it gives me is when my government talks about the IMF process and how it will go, normally they don't give details. But he's talking about the pain and difficulty of being a president in a country that owes everybody, and how the international system is set up at the moment is not helping him run his country. He's not paying bills and all those things. I think it gives beautiful insight. So you can find that one and read it, and you'll understand just what is at stake.
All right. And also to mention that on all the tax policy measures proposed to Parliament, which the House is expected to consider on Friday, I have the various the committee reports on all the...
Oh, okay. Then we can enter all of them.
And they are saying in some that we should pass them.
If
the
we
House
do,
should pass them.
We will probably, on a different occasion, analyze the likelihood of this passing. Because, yesterday we invited the NDC openly to make a comment on this, and they've still not. And I listened to Agboja this morning on the breakfast news, and he was talking about other tax matters. So it's quite clear that they sort of know that this is very serious, that if this thing doesn't go through, we are in trouble. But if you look at what the Guta guys are saying and what other people are saying about this, it could lead to...
I mean, personally, I just think that Guta's stance and how strong they are might force the government to, as it were, come good on the sunset clause. Remember, I think when you interviewed the Deputy Minister of Finance, she mentioned that, look, this thing has an expiry.
But it's 2 years, 2023, 2025.
I get it. I'm just saying that if Guta pushes hard and is very insistent on
they could
this,
qualify, they could modify
maybe they could get government to maybe make a bit of a
But that's the point. That where the thing has gotten to, the form in which it is, I don't think there'll be any changes.
No. I'm not talking about change. I'm just talking about maybe the shelf life of this.
So it could be a shorter.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see. In the meantime, Standard Water has over 25 years' experience in providing quality and refreshing water to quench your thirst. This refreshing water brand is available in 11 out of the 16 regions of Ghana. It's in all 10 old regions. And we give you sachet water, bottled water, dispensed, mounted jar water, which is quite efficient. And of course, they can customize the water for your parties and other special occasions. Standard Water is available for purchase from supermarkets, retail shops, and sales delivery trucks. For more information and for bulk purchase, call 0202 055703 or 054 733 4385. Empower yourself with a practical qualification in corporate finance, financial markets, and investment management, including practical application in financial modeling. CFA is globally recognized standard for measuring, is a globally recognized standard for measuring the expertise, experience, and ethics of investment professionals. CFA Level 1 eligibility has been extended to university students with less than 2 years remaining on their undergraduate programs. So get the right tuition support from Benchmark. Go to benchmarkghana.com or call 0277 511 315. That's 0277 511 315. Benchmark, your professional partner. Imagine you had the power to impact the world around you. At the British Council, we see students from all over the world with dreams of a bright future coming together for a quality education that achieves goals. Those who study abroad in countries like the UK are getting much more than just a degree. They are getting a world of valuable experiences. Visit the British Council website to find out how you can own your future.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority is reminding all VAT, NHIL, Get Fund Levy registered businesses that VAT, NHIL, Get Fund Levy, and Communication Service tax returns for February this year should be submitted to the GRA not later than Friday, March 31, which is the last working day of the month. Now, if you do not pay, there's a 500 cedi penalty and a further penalty of 10 cedis for each day that the return is not submitted. If you want to speak to the GRA, get to them via WhatsApp 0552 990 000 or 0200 631 664. Send them an email info@gra.gov.gh. You can also visit their website gra.gov.gh for more info. Now, how important is your health to you? How often do you visit a health facility? Visit Vigdang Healthcare, a Ghana Health Service specialized certified healthcare center that does a lot of work in kidney stones, hepatomegaly, hypertension, fatty liver treatment, among others. And they use 100% natural 100% natural medicine in all their treatments. They are on the Spintex Road behind the Standard Chartered Bank. You can call them on 0549951211 or 0502661346. Now, if you have a business and you are figuring out the best package in terms of data, calls, text, and all of that, Vodafone Too Much Business is what you need. It's the best mobile plan in the market, and you have flexibility to choose voice, data, and SMS packages that suit your business's size and ambitions. You can get in touch with Vodafone. Send START to 0507 779 000 or send an email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com to sign up now. Vodafone, further together.
Now we're going next to our Heritage Month on a series. This morning we will be playing you part 1 of an interview Vivian Kailoko had with an ethnomusicologist on highlights of Ga music. Dromona was in the background providing the sounds accompanying that insightful conversation as part of our Heritage Month. Enjoy.
Bremabie keji abasoli ni abaje no kufish abapemu abapenu ko ameke ameni amemu ameni niki na mefi ameka ameni twashi kumi niki wo ka metwa na me biake je wo gbenkumi ameke hiao koni anyi hiao etwa ke kona nya wo ameni hi ameni ji na meke twashi ni numi aje ni agbeni ka yenu ahi ne ke ni jinemi na ke twashi wo agbeni atwashi ka asoli akwa ke obatwashi koni umaniaba koni wokin kopi kumi wo ka ke atwashi beni tumi akeshi woke wo yinpi woke wo demu fi kumi wo pe wo ake manko.
Okay, I'll allow you to explain that in English so our viewers and listeners who don't understand English to understand. But you're welcome to the second part of our Heritage Month, centering on Ga music. I'm here with Ni Ajete. My name is Vivian Kailoko. We'll play you some top 5 Ga songs, explain to you the lyrics behind them, the instruments used, and the evolution of those songs. The song we just danced and sang to is Tra Ni Omanyaba. In English terms, what does that mean? Let's take a seat.
Okay, so yeah, so as I said whilst we were standing, the Gans believe that unity is strength. And therefore, when the elders meet, and they are going to do anything, as a tradition, they will hold each other. They will hold their hands together, and they will hit the ground. And so when they hit the ground, as they hit the ground, they will be asking themselves questions. Are we united? Then they say yes. Are we doing it for a good cause? They say yes.
Okay.
And as they do that, all the others will say, so that it will be well with us. And in God they will say, Konia hiao.
Okay.
So they say, tra, umanyaba.
Okay.
Meaning we are hitting the ground, we are hitting the
So these
that
days
it
we use it loosely. So
Yeah.
when you go to places, people speak after that, they say try. Or
Yeah,
even
you know, when in the early days, when they gather together, the elders who meet together have an intention and they understand the traditions.
Okay.
But with time, because the tradition started changing, and even some of the elders took over using water instead of using their hands.
Okay.
People also took emulated what they saw, and gradually it has woven into our culture now. That wherever people meet, they say it, and normally you realize that they say it at the beginning of certain rituals or maybe certain activities. And when we are ending it to music, to end it.
So this particular song, you hear names like Takitaria, Abebio, and all that. What was the writer of the song trying to tell us? And then you hear lyrics talking about emancipation, us selling our rights to the white person and all that. But what's the meaning behind the lyrics, and what was the composer trying to tell us in this song?
In the olden days, when the whites came, our colonial masters, initially, we Ghanaians, our forefathers, really saw whatever they were trying to do. So they didn't want to associate themselves with them.
Okay.
And they tried in all means. So even when they brought schools, our fathers didn't take our young Ghanaians
Your children
initially
to schools, initially, okay.
Yeah, and the reason is that they thought that these whites have certain intentions, but they are hiding those things, or they are hiding those things behind certain performances that they were doing. They were bringing school, and then we had our schools already. We were going, before a lady goes to, becomes adolescent. When from adolescent, we have what we call the puberty rites that we were performing. So we had our own culture, our schools where people are trained and so on. So they were surprised about what the whites were bringing. And they spread this information to the chiefs, to the communities, that these whites cannot be trusted.
Okay.
So as generations went by, now it was the turn of Takitaria and the rest. They were asking them, can't you still deliver us from these evil men?
Okay.
Have you sold us to them?
Okay.
Why are you so quiet?
Okay.
So timidity is not from today. It started long ago. But most of the times, the young or the community is looking up to the chiefs or the elders.
So this song was composed before independence?
No, it was after the independence. If you look at what they are saying that after generations, when whites have come, and even now we can see all that our forefathers told us, and they are still doing it. You are still quiet. Have you sold us? Have you collected some bribe or things? That is what actually.
And that song is actually still relevant, in current
maybe we can still have our presidents and our governments and ministers and municipal chief executives. Why are they so quiet?
Okay. Do we know who originally composed the song?
This song was also sung by Jajiloy.
Jajiloy?
No, Wulome. And most of the songs the Ghana songs, as I said, because they related with Sakakui, it influenced most of the songs. It could be that this one might not be, because I could remember Wulome, Big Boy was there, Nyamati, and the rest were all there. And these people were very creative. They are very, very creative. So it could be that any of them composed. In fact, actually, I've not really researched to find out who really composed the individual songs.
Okay, we'll move to our next song. And if Dromona, if you can play One Shehunu, which is a very interesting one. You have the son there, you have given a message to the son. You explain to us what it means. But let's hear, for those who don't know this song, to hear the song.
na fwa balala, aboya muja gadwane uji uji. Blessing pa na fwa balala, aboya kama kadu kama fe. Wanshe unwe ya gadu wake wambe moye. Aje wana moye. Wanshe unwe ya gadu wake wambe moye. Aje wana ni moye.
What does that mean?
We are really giving message to the Son to inform God that we are coming to Him.
So what? Opening, paving the way for death? Or
No,
what?
we are just informing Him that we can't live on this earth again.
Wow.
Life is becoming too unbearable. And therefore, Son, please inform God we are coming. That is the meaning. You know, the Ghanaians have a lot of proverbial expressions. And there are a lot of philosophies behind these expressions. So when they really want to say something sometimes, or they want to really complain about situation, they find a way to use proverbial language to communicate whatever is whatever intention they want. So if you listen to these lyrics properly, we are really sending the Son. It is like a father and children, or the children informing the mother that the school fees had not been paid. So, Father, we want to come to you, but you know, fathers sometimes they frown when the money is not coming. You know, when it is hard, and when the children get away, and no, those things really bother the children. So they are afraid to get closer to the fathers. So they would rather tell the mother, Charlie, oh, madam, Charlie, please kindly see him and talk about him. So here, the parent, which is the mother, is now the son.
Okay.
Yeah, is the intermediary between the children and the father.
Oh, so that's it.
So the son is our intermediary to inform God that, because we can see the son, we can't see God.
So depending on setting, if it's at home, you can say the son represents the mother.
The mother.
If you want to go into the spiritual realm, the son can be a sort of an angel an assistant, telling God what you want. But from some of the songs, or many of the songs, even about 2 or 3 that we played today, and then the last time we met, Sisa Hele, and it looks like the Ghan traditional setting, they like to send messages to the other world.
Yes, spiritually, the Ghanaians believe that we are not just physical, we are also spiritual. And they believe that names that we bear belongs to the spiritual, not to the physical. That is why when a child is given to birth, he comes with his own name, the day name.
Okay.
And on the 8A, on the 8B, the Ghanaians have a week making the 8B is their week. And that day, they show the sun and the child to the sun, the morning star. They believe that that is the eye of God. So they believe in spirit. They believe in the spiritual life, and they also believe in the physical life. And they think that because there is a spiritual life and there's a physical life, whatever happens here has already happened in the spirit.
Okay.
And therefore, we also have assistance from the spirit beings. So if we have any difficult situations, we can still call on them to come and assist. So that is where the 2 songs really relate to that.
And these particular type of songs are played within which settings? Are they played during?
Some of them are incidental, as I said. As we started, some of the songs come when we are faced with situations. So it could be that the mother is really working in the house and is faced with something. He needs somebody to come and stand in or do something for him, but he cannot really raise his voice and say, okay, I'm going to Addo to go in. So maybe through maybe she's informing one of the elders that, look, tell Mensa that we are coming to him. We need assistance. And so, listening to me, he should hear that I need assistance, so she should come. He should come with help.
Okay. Yeah. Our next song is Matthew, Paul. You know, another very interesting song, very popular even among people who are not Ghanaians. Let's play a bit of it, and then we see how it became one of the big songs that, you know, of Ghana heritage. So we'll have the band give us Matthew.
Really, among the Ghanaians, we have Mankpa, who is the senior mother, Manting, the middle mother. So maybe if you have 3 mothers, or maybe maybe women who are in succession, the first one is the Mankpa, the middle one is the Manfiu, and the Manting, then the last one is Manfiu. Okay. But this one is a communication between lovers. This song looks a bit, you know,
like a man.
Bit profane, yeah.
Okay.
In a way, yeah. The reason being that this is, you know, in our tradition, we as Ghanaians, women don't have that opportunity or the power to invite a male for any affair, or even to tell a man that she loves him.
Okay.
So this is a woman who has proposed through a means. So this
is a woman talking in this song?
No, it is a male.
A man, yeah.
Saying that you found a way to win me. Why? You invited me that we should come and eat. And you found a way to say that I've broken your ring.
And where the ring here means?
No, he said, you are taking me to go and look for the ring. Is that what you are saying? Okay, Ibagbe. And Ibagbe means it will happen. Like, I hope you understand.
No, let's break it down. Take your time.
So
you can do the proverbial
in our setting. It is not your duty to propose love. Even if you love me, show it and I'll propose it. But you found a way to entice me.
Yes.
We should come and eat. So maybe you give me a very nice soup. You know, after eating. Now you have found a way to say that I've even removed your ring.
That removal of the ring means something.
Yes.
That's what I want you to explain.
You see, maybe the female is now telling, the male is expressing that the female is telling him, the male, that actually you weren't, you know, doing what you're supposed to do. So if you cannot talk, I have to force you to talk. So maybe I've shown you all that it takes for you to propose. You are not proposing.
Yes.
Then you curse me. You broke my ring. You have to go and look it for me. And in fact, wherever you find it, even if we go to wherever, Nyankpala to get it. And if I follow you to go and look for it, what will happen? On the way, anything, wherever we find ourselves, anything will happen.
So that's
there's there is something, there's a hidden intention. So a man complaining that, why did you find all these ways to entice me into the situation in which I am? Because you are, and what it means is that you are saying that me as a man, I'm not a man.
I didn't really know that this song had some deep meanings,
really,
and actually a sort of a lover's song and all that. But the next song is falls within what I say the emancipation song, Wagbejeke, a very strong, heavy song, which also talks a lot about emancipation. I think we'll play it quickly. This song comes with so much energy, and I have to sit down for us to continue this conversation because the shimo is not, something for the weak people.
You see, its name Shimo means we are really pounding the ground. Let me say we are really stamping the ground. That is the meaning, and it is a particular dance. They believe God himself. So that is how, according to name, when God met our ancestor, the great ancestor, who really found the La people, this is the walking or the dance style God himself was dancing.
Okay.
And so, if you don't know how to dance it, don't even mess.
Because it's a godly dance.
It is godly dance.
Okay.
That is a dance that's created by God himself. So when you are hitting the ground or you are stamping the ground, what it implies is that you are saying that God is the owner of the earth. And that is the meaning, actually, with which. So when they said hit, and dance properly. But when you are dancing, in so doing, don't really mess the dance.
Okay. The lyrics of this song, we hear again Takitaria's name being mentioned. You hear about we fighting and today people are, enjoying and all that. Tell us more about the lyrics and what the composer wanted to send across in this particular song.
If you listen to the lyrics, it started by saying that we have come far. We are from very, very far. And this journey is from Adam. We've come through Timbuktu, Mansa Musa, through all those people, the renowned people mentioned in history, through Takitawia and the rest, up to where we are today. However, whatever, you see, Amaziba want to say that the truth of the matter is that whatever the white man brought to us is just to deceive us. Our legal system, our administrative system, everything is a fake. So he said they pretended they are coming to wipe our sweat, but they have wiped every good thing that we have.
So that's
anything that we have, they've taken it away. And that is what he's saying. So it's a kind of a lamentation. He's lamenting about how we have sat down and been deceived by Western cultures. And to him, when we put on beads, it defeats us. When we put on our kente clothes, it defeats us. When we wear our traditional wear, that is what we are. That is our true selves. And so whatever the white man brought is just to make money and wealth for themselves. And because of that, they sell everything for us. And that is what we are following. So he's just trying to awaken the Ghanaians to know that, no, we were having everything already. But whatever they came for is maybe our way. And so whatever you see that they are bringing to us is a fake.
Yeah, very similar to the Traumania lyrics as well.
Sure.
Wow. So we say thank you again to the Drum on our band. They've done a fantastic job being with us for a 2-part series on Ga music. I want to say thank you to Tuni Ajete, aka Zayo, for being with us throughout, taking us through Ga music, helping us to appreciate the lyrics, the composition, what the composers were seeking to tell people when they came up with those songs. And of course, taking us through the instruments and some bit of history around Ga music. I want to also say thank you to Phoenicia Creation. She came up with the lovely beats I'm wearing today, and of course the earrings. So
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
How relevant are your skill sets with your evolving role in the workplace? At Benchmark, we only provide high-quality training in globally recognized professional credential to enhance your personal value in ACCA, CFA, FRM, including practical business application courses in financial modeling, computerized accounting, and many more. Contact Benchmark Learning Center, Okpongno Junction, Legon, or visit benchmarkghana.com. Be smart, be outstanding. Benchmark.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Hisense is best known for all your electronic appliance needs, such as television, refrigerator, chest freezer, and air conditioners. But did you know we have laser television, gas cooker, washing machine, smartphones, sound systems, water dispenser, microwave, blender, rice cooker, kettle, iron, air fryer, just to mention a few. Hisense is the only electronic company in Ghana that gives you 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. Visit any of our showrooms in Accra, also in Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Takwa, Mankesim, Obuasi, Sunyani, Techima, Tamale, Hohoi, Kofodia to purchase any Hisense product at the best price. Hisense means best quality, best durability, best for energy efficiency, best for affordability, best for style, and best for technology. You can always get in touch on 0302 550000 or go to www.hisense.com.gh. We are also available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Hisense Ghana. Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Fly Emirates first and business class and look forward to a journey that's as incredible as your destination. Start your holiday with delicious fine dining, impeccable service, and comfort that's out of this world. Sip drinks in our A380 onboard lounge on flights from Dubai and beyond. Watch a movie and drift into a restful sleep in flatbed seats. Treat yourself to Emirates first and business class. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Enjoy the best of convenience and security on AT Money. Carry out all your mobile money related transactions on the go. Send or receive cash, pay bills, move cash in and out of your bank account from anywhere at any time. Airtel Tigo Money, your most secured and trusted mobile money service.
City 97.3. More variety.
Many dasu nina newo eye ankasado na mido na eba no say no do pay na mi de ya edruboni na mi numwana anase mi kosha konfo se obi do wa nwana na ine wukikano na mintio I will teach you me don't if you're only
9:59. That's how we wrap it up on the Citi Breakfast Show. Live on your dial 97.3 FM. Many thanks for listening. Earlier you heard Bernard Avle, Richard De La Sky, Prophet Akotoboa for Samalata Mensa. My name is Nathan Kwao. I was also on the show. Many thanks for your messages that came in. We'll do it again tomorrow morning between 6:20 and 10 a.m. Show produced by Caleb Kuda. Godfred Odum supported us on technical. Coming up next is the news at 10 with Caleb Kuda. And after that, Chantel will be here with Brunch in the City.